a better idea of where they excel in the game and what might be the right fit for you in this upcoming expansion. As always, this is using existing game knowledge on the final balance patch, and things are always subject to change if Blizzard does decide to do class balancing. Either way though, this should give you a good starting idea of how each spec will do. I'll be using a rating system as well with a few different criteria. Those will be early, as in does this spec do well early into the expansion? Scaling, does this spec get worse, remain consistent, or get better as the expansion progresses? Complexity, so is the spec easy to play or difficult? Stacking, are people likely to actively try and stack this class? Utility, so does this spec bring strong cooldowns either for the raid or on single target? And PvP, will this spec excel in Arena? Each point will be rated from 1 to 5, where 1 is poor, 2 below average, 3 average, 4 above average, and 5 excellent. So with that said, let's make a start and cover all the melee DPS specs in Mr. Pandaria and see how well each one is expected to perform. We'll make a start with a rogue and assassination. Assassination is typically a spec that excels on single target, does well in lower levels of gear, and is easy to play. And for the most part, all of this remains true in Mr. Pandaria coming from Cataclysm. The difference is assassination isn't that typical single target powerhouse that it usually is, and there is another rogue spec which will notably outperform it in this regard. Equally, as the expansion goes on and you gear up, they don't scale quite as well as some other specs either. The selling point for them here is that they're very straightforward to play whilst getting good results. Though since they aren't expected to be the top rogue spec, assassination won't be stacked in raids. Utility wise, all rogues are pretty strong to be honest, and it's not something specialization specific which makes this so, it's just their base toolkit is very good, especially for staying alive through just about anything, with tricks of the trade, evasion, cloak of shadows, feint, stuns, expose armor, kick, and smoke bomb, which now gives a 20% damage reduction for its duration. Rogue utility is very good, allowing them to deal with mechanics and offering a raid defensive cooldown, albeit a short range one. In PvP, assassination has good damage when it has uptime on the target, but it just doesn't have the mobility or burst that other specs do. As such, it's not likely to see much play here. Next is combat. Early on into Mr. Pandaria, combat isn't expected to be doing anything special damage-wise, and since we've talked about how rogue utility is not spec-specific, well, that's not exactly a good thing for class diversity. For scaling, they do about average, but essentially they need a fight where they can have a ton of uptime on Blade Flurry. This spec is more or less balanced around this 2-target cleave niche, and if they don't have a fight where they can take advantage of this, they just don't do well. There may be the occasional use case for this spec throughout the expansion, but I don't think that combat will be super popular, which of course means don't expect them to be stacked either. PvP wise, I mean sure you can roll up and spam all your cooldowns and hope you win, but against most people this spec just won't be effective either, so again, not likely to see play here. Which leaves the final rogue spec, Subtlety, and here compared to the other two specs, everything is looking a lot better. This should be the best performing rogue spec early on, having access to powerful cooldowns as well as good consistent damage. They are a bit more involved to play compared to the other rogue specs, but at the same time aren't as complicated as they were in Cataclysm, where they just have more things to manage overall. Since this is the top performing rogue spec for the expansion, if there's one type of rogue you'd stack, it would be this one. That being said, I don't really see more than 2 or at maximum maybe 3 being brought even in 25 player scenarios over some other choices. In general, for melee classes, they really have to be something special to actively be stacked in raids. There are always bosses which, for example, need your raid group to be spread, or they take tons of damage, they try and target range with mechanics, or they're just plain melee unfriendly. To be honest, I think there's only 1 or 2 melee DPS specs that raids will actively look to stack in MOP, but there are a few others that you wouldn't mind seeing more than one of, and I think Sub Rogue falls into that category. In PvP, Sub is also the go-to rogue spec, as it has been for more or less forever for the rogue. With a strong toolkit of burst damage, mobility, and CC, Sub keeps its spot as the top pick for all aspects of PvP. Next we have the Feral Druid, and this spec above any other is one that strangely has a peak towards the middle of the expansion, instead of just continually scaling with gear, and that happens for one big reason. Early on though, they're expected to be above average on damage, offering good single target and AoE DPS in raiding environments. The reason that their scaling peaks is due to a trinket that becomes available in the Throne of Thunder called the Rune of Reorigination. This converts all your secondary stats into the one with the highest value that allows ferals to snapshot some massive bleeds for huge damage. As per usual, feral is a bit more involved than most classes, with several combo point based finishes to manage, but there's no power shifting or anything like that to worry about anymore, so it's not that difficult compared to how it used to be. Stacking wise for ferals at the start of MOP, basically I highly doubt it. Even though they are good, there are just better choices, and to be honest, you're waiting for Throne of Thunder to release so you can really start doing well. In Throne of Thunder, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch more feral players suddenly start to appear and want to raid if they are performing as well as they're expected to during this tier. Later in Siege of Orgrimmar they should keep doing well, but other classes begin to outscale them once again. So stacking wise for feral, maybe in Throne of Thunder, other than that I doubt it. All druid specs now have access to most of the utility which makes them attractive to bring, such as Innovate, Combat Res, Typhoon, Ursol's Vortex and Stampeding Roar. So whatever druid spec you have, they will be bringing a lot utility wise to the raid. In PvP they can do well, having good consistent single target damage, CC and some off heals too. I wouldn't say they're as dominant as they were in previous expansions, however they're a solid pickup here and can work well in a number of brackets and ratings. Now we have the new addition to World of Warcraft in the Monk and their melee DPS spec, Windwalker. This plays kind of similar to a rogue, both using energy as a resource as well as chi, which are their version of combo points. However, the Monk focuses a lot more around moderate cooldown abilities for its damage, rather than just having resources available that need to be spent. They are expected to do the best early on into the expansion, doing especially well on fights that allow them to cleave or AoE thanks to their AoE damage heavy kit. Scaling wise, Monks are middle of the pack, and on average shouldn't do as well as some other classes. As far as I know, they really peak at the start of Mists of Pandaria from a damage perspective, and gradually fall off afterwards. Difficulty wise, I'd say they have more things to manage than most classes. Between energy, chi, their mastery, and plenty of short cooldowns, this is a spec that has a bunch of things going on at the same time. That being said, with what we know at the moment, I don't reckon Windwalker will see that much play beyond there being one of them in a raid due to their expected performance, and also in part due to their utility, because Windwalker Monk feels a bit low on the utility side of things which they can offer a raid. I mean, they have interrupts and stuns, and that's just kind of it really. The majority of other specs simply bring more, so they ideally need to be doing lots of damage to justify their raid spot, which they do early, but I'm not so sure that they will be doing later on. In PvP, thankfully, it's a different story, where Windwalker is a strong addition to a wide variety of comps, offering high pressure burst, great defensives, and essentially being unpeelable through their crazy mobility. You should expect to see a bunch of people pick up Windwalker for PvP. Next is Enhancement, and overall they're in a great
I'm gonna
spot
boost a Windwalker on one of my accounts. Already, the account that doesn't have the Hunter.
In terms of DPS, having good access to both AoE and single target. Notably too, you get Ascendance as your big new DPS cooldown, which just has always felt amazing to use when combined with all your other cooldowns at the start of a fight. Scaling wise, they definitely improved with gear both throughout Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar, and should be somewhere in the upper levels of DPS throughout the whole of Mists of Pandaria. As per usual, Enhancement has quite a few buttons and more going on in terms of playing them correctly, and this is also true in MOP, though the biggest moment will be at the start of the fight when you realise how many different cooldowns you have to press in a row. I think that there is an above average chance to see more than one Enhancement Shaman per raid, though people won't actively look to stack them as perhaps say they would with some other classes, but their upside in good damage and utility will make them a popular pick, I think. Speaking of utility, of course, here Shamans have always been great. They offer Heroism, a bunch of raid-wide buffs, they have Tremor Totem, Grounding Totem, and some new totems too. These include the talented Windwalk Totem that makes allies within 40 yards immune to movement impairing effects, which is situationally very good. They have Capacitor Totem as an AoE stun, and Stormlash Totem that adds a small bit of damage to all your allies' attacks. They also have Ancestral Guidance in their talent tree too, where 40% of damage is copied to 3 injured nearby allies as healing. This can be such a clutch cooldown to save people with. Shamans once again have that S tier utility for sure. In PvP, Enhanced should perhaps be a little bit less represented compared to PvE, although it remains strong in terms of utility and damage output. It can struggle when being
this guy is hella wrong.
Other classes.
Enhanced Shaman is fucking crazy in PvP, dude. They're like shot callers in RPGs. Like, alright, we're gonna get this guy in 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna send this in, go, 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 go! And the dude just fucking melts.
Great single target damage and crazy good burst AoE or cleave thanks to their new abilities and talents such as Bloodbath. They also scale well with gear, but don't quite keep pace with being as strong as they are during the opening of the expansion. To be honest, by the end of MOP, it's just a lot of the casters that get super overpowered. Complexity-wise, ARMS is about maximizing your damage in the Colossus Smash window, and planning your cooldowns and procs around moments and encounters where you can really make the most of them. I think ARMS looks quite simple at a first glance, but there are some levels to it in my opinion. Stacking-wise, I think ARMS is the most likely to be stacked melee DPS for Mists of Pandaria. As we talked about earlier, it's kind of hard to stack melee due to encounter limitations, but ARMS is bringing enough between its damage and utility. Speaking of utility, to be honest, Warriors don't really have a ton of it, but the things they do have are just incredible. The biggest one is their new ability, Skull Banner. This is 20% bonus crit damage for your entire raid for 10 seconds. Obviously, chaining this cooldown together during Bloodlust with all other cooldowns on pull is a significant DPS gain, and it shouldn't be underestimated how useful this can be. In PvP, as per usual, again, ARMS is just the top pick here for Warrior. With very high single target damage, great burst damage, a healing reduction, and a range of CC effects, they just always excel in Arena. Also, Warrior's second wind talent gets kinda busted in PvP too during Mists of Pandaria, as it heals you for 3% of your max health per second when below 35% health. And believe me, this
to kill
really
Warriors, you actually need to save your
top
cooldowns for when they're
Pandaria,
in second wind
if you played
phase.
this spec in Kata and you enjoyed it a lot, I'd be happy sticking with it. And then we get to the sorry state of Fury in comparison, where again, similar to Cataclysm, I just don't know when you justify playing this really. It's poor early game because it needs a bunch of crit to start being effective in PvE, and whilst it does scale well with gear, it shouldn't really be beating an equally skilled and geared ARMS Warrior at any point in the expansion. It goes without saying therefore that it's not really going to be stacked. Utility wise, I mean, Skull Banner is still Skull Banner, it's pretty amazing, but ARMS can do that as well as everything else better. I want to top it off, you wouldn't play this in PvP either, it's really bad. So it's another sad expansion for Fury Warrior if they don't get any changes, I'm afraid. Up next we have the Retribution Paladin. Early on into Mists of Pandaria, they're expected to be just about average to good, as they're going to be lacking a bunch of secondary stats that they need to start doing damage. Though eventually they will start picking up gear that smooths out their rotation, other specs and classes will simply outscale them comparatively, and Ret should expect to remain around the middle of the pack in terms of DPS for the whole expansion. As such, it's unlikely that Ret will be stacked, and for most raids, if they decide to pick a Ret Pally up, it's probably going to be a one-off. Paladin utility, however, has always been good, and I think is their main selling point here, with various hands and blessings that offer both single target and raid-wide support. And of course, you can always clutch a lay on hands and save a pull in one single moment. So however the Paladin is performing themselves, I always rate them well in this regard. In PvP, they're set to fare better, where their on-demand burst and utility will serve them well. Here they should have a variety of strong comps where they can excel, and they should be more in demand compared to PvE. Next is the Death Knight, and we'll make a start with Frost. They're expected to be around the mid-end of the DPS meter towards the start of Mists of Pandaria, again lacking in some secondary stats to really start performing well as they can. Saying that, Frost has always scaled well with gear, and in MOP this should be no exception. As we go through the tiers, they're expected to notably improve, and towards the end of the expansion should be a respectable damage dealer. Difficulty-wise, Frost has always been pretty straightforward too, with gameplay being centered around procs, allowing you to do big bursts of damage. Frost is unlikely to be actively stacked, and I think you'll see more of them towards the end of Mists of Pandaria compared to the start due to their scaling. On the utility side of things, all DK specs do great, having 2 interrupts and Death Grip, but most important for DKs are their new talents. One of those is Gorfiend's Grasp. This is basically AoE Death Grip, which pulls all units within 20 yards to the target. This is just such an amazing ability for quickly stacking annoying caster mobs, so you can start AoEing them down fast. For me, this talent single-handedly gives them a 5 rating on utility just because of how impactful it can be in so many different scenarios. If you get used to the range on Gorfiend's Grasp and how best to use it, people are gonna love having you around. On top of that, you also now have Anti-Magic Zone as a talent too, which reduces spell damage taken by 40% for 3 seconds to all members inside. Another situationally very powerful talent if a boss has one super hard-hitting cast that needs to be dealt with. On the PvP side of things, however, Frost isn't really expected to be doing all that great. As per usual, general, it's a bit lacking in the defensive department outside of procs, and it can be a bit unreliable on damage. As such, don't expect to see this spec much in PvP during Mists of Pandaria. Finally is Unholy, and compared to Frost, this is the DK DPS spec that you should expect to be seeing the most of. It starts the expansion in a very strong state, offering good consistent single target and AoE damage, and their amazing bursts at the start of the fight as well. Unholy does scale well as we progress on into Mists of Pandaria, but perhaps doesn't quite keep pace with certain other specs as you gear up. Difficulty-wise, Unholy is definitely more involved than Frost on their rotation, having to manage your pets, dark transformation and cooldowns, so this may be a selling point depending if you prefer this type of gameplay. Stacking-wise, you are likely to see more than one Unholy in a 25-player raid, and I think other than Arms Warrior, this is the second melee which may actively be stacked. But still, it's not going to be that many of them just because of the limitation of being a melee class. Of course, their utility is also amazing, similar to Frost, just through the virtue of having talents such as Gorfine's Grasp and Anti-Magic Zone. These two abilities are just so useful. Finally, in PvP, this spec will see more representation than Frost 2, as a high pressure class which offers great defensive tools and consistent pressure. Also, you have a bunch of pets for extra utility and just to annoy the enemy healers in general. Overall, Unholy is in a very good spot for Mists of Pandaria, and that is a brief rundown of each melee DPS class in Mists of Pandaria Classic, alongside some ratings to give you a better idea of how your main should perform this expansion. Let me know your thoughts though. Will there be anything that will drastically change from what I've said here? Drop a comment down below. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in, and I'll see you all in the next one very soon.
I was born on an island that only really had one rule. The kind that wasn't spoken but lived in people's posture. The way their mouths tightened. The way their eyes avoided a certain part of the sea. We were never to talk about the island across the water. It sat to the east, a half-mile off our shoreline. You couldn't miss it. You would see it from almost anywhere on our side. Past the docks, over the tree line, from the cliffs on the northern edge where the goats grazed. It was always there, sitting still, never changing. A piece of land so close that you could row to it in under an hour, though no one did. I can't remember a single adult ever naming it, not even once. And if you said something about it, even by accident, someone would shut it down immediately. Not angrily, just firmly, like flicking a candle out. One time when I was little, maybe 7 or 8, I pointed across the water and asked my mother if anybody lived there. She didn't scold me, she didn't say anything at all. She just took my hand and led me inside, like I had asked where babies come from or what happens when you die. That kind of silence. Another time I asked my grandfather if he had ever been. He was cleaning fish out by the shed. He paused just a second too long before saying, "No," and then added, "Never ask about it again." And that was that. It wasn't forbidden in the way that dangerous things are forbidden. It was deeper. Like the island didn't want to be spoken of, and the people here had agreed to let it be. Our island wasn't big. You could walk across it in a few hours if you didn't stop. There was the village near the western bay with its stone paths and wooden slatted houses and the small church where we held market on Sundays. A few scattered farms, a fishing dock, and the old watchtower from before my time that nobody used anymore. It was quiet, steady, the kind of place where every door creaked the same way, and you knew who had passed by just from the sound of their call. The trade boat came once a week, usually just before noon. We never saw where it came from. It always arrived out of the mist. It brought flour, salt, oil, iron tools, letters sometimes, though no one in my family ever got any. It left with barrels of fish and boxes of preserved vegetables. No one ever left with it. Only the trader ever boarded it. He'd pass down the rope to whoever helped him load and unload. but no one ever crossed the rail. We were a closed loop. We grew up knowing our boundaries, the sea, the woods, the cliffs, and beyond all of that, the other island. Always watching, always ignored. There were 5 of us who couldn't leave it alone. Me, Jonah, Sam, Eli, and Nathan. We were kids like any others, too much energy, not enough fear. We ran barefoot through the brush, built slingshots from driftwood, dared each other to knock on the widow's door. We spent hot days pretending to be soldiers and cold nights pretending that we weren't scared of ghosts. We stole things, but nothing important. Apples, candles, once a bottle of wine that we didn't even like. We were just loud, restless boys. Jonah was the biggest. Tall for his age, shoulders already starting to widen like his father's. He didn't talk much, but when he did, people listened. Sam was the quickest, always first to climb something, first to run, first to joke about things that made the rest of us squirm. Eli was quiet and careful, and always the one who asked, "What if?" before we did something dumb. Nathan was clever, sometimes too clever. He'd make up lies so good that we believed them even after he had admitted that they weren't true. And then there was me. I don't know what I was in that group. I guess I was the one who remembered, the one who carried it longest. We never said it out loud, but we all watched the island, from the rocks by the southern cliff, from the upper fields when the wind cleared the trees, from the shore when we were supposed to be fishing but spent more time staring at the horizon. We would talk about it only when we were sure that nobody else was listening. Maybe it's a ruin, Eli once said. Like people used to live there, but something happened. Sam snorted. What, like ghosts? Maybe it's where the trader comes from, I offered. He never says. Jonah said nothing, just stared into the distance. We didn't speak of it often, and when we did, it was always with that half-serious tone that kids use when they're testing how far they can push something without making it real. But over time, the idea started to settle. Not in our mouths, but in our bones, like it had been waiting there all along. We didn't plan it then, but I think that we all knew we would. It was Jonah who said it first. We were behind the storehouse, the 5 of us perched on a broken cart that sank slightly in the middle, chewing through whatever scraps we had stolen from our kitchens. Salted fish, hard bread, half-rotted apples that still had enough sweetness left in them to be worth the trouble. The kind of food that tasted better because it wasn't given to us. He didn't clear his throat or build up to it. He just said, "I think we should go." Like he was talking to himself. No one asked where. We all knew. That silence. The way nobody looked at each other. The way we kept chewing like the words hadn't landed. That was agreement. Sam spat a seed into the dirt. Tomorrow. Jonah still didn't look up. 2 mornings before sunup. Nathan nodded. Eli wiped his hands in his pants. I didn't say anything. I was already picturing the time. We met 2 mornings later just before sunrise in the kind of pale, still light that feels like the world hasn't started yet. The moon was still visible, hanging low in the sky like it hadn't made up its mind to leave. The dirt was damp from night air, and everything around us smelled like the ocean. Not fresh like wind and salt, stale, like old ropes and barnacles and the inside of a bait barrel. We didn't bring much. A couple of flasks of water, a loaf of bread wrapped in a cloth, some rope, a pocket knife that none of us could use right. Eli brought his father's compass. The face was cracked and the needle had a habit of drifting even when you held it steady. But he brought it anyway. Sam brought a hammer for some reason, though he never said why. Jonah had taken the skiff from the far end of the dock where the unused boats were kept. It wasn't in any good shape, but it floated. That was enough. It creaked when we pushed it into the shallows, and for a second I thought the sound might carry and wake someone, but the village above us stayed dark. No lights, no footsteps, just the soft hiss of water and the thump of oars against the side of the hull. We climbed in. Jonah and Nathan took the oars first, setting a rhythm without speaking. The rest of us sat in silence, our backs to the shore. I didn't look back. The water was colder than I had expected. Not freezing, but deep cold, like it came from underneath something. There wasn't much wind, just a faint breeze that moved in slow, irregular pulses. It brushed the surface of the sea in places. I watched the light from the sky ripple and disappear beneath the oars as we moved. As we got farther out, the shape of the island came into view, slowly, like it was pushing through fog that we hadn't noticed before. I had seen it all my life, but only from shore. And now from the water it felt different, bigger, heavier. The trees formed a jagged silhouette against the sky, and the hills behind them looked like sleeping animals just starting to stir. The closer that we got, the more it felt familiar. The shape of the coastline, the slope of the land. It was like rowing toward a memory, one you couldn't fully place until you were inside of it. There was a moment maybe halfway across where I turned to look behind us and saw that our own island was already fading into the mist. A low fog was moving in fast, curling over the water like smoke through grass. The beach, the houses, even the trees, gone. Just a soft, gray smear behind us. It looked farther away than it should have. Fins, Sam said, and he said it too calmly, like he was trying not to cause a stir. We all looked. Just to the right of the boat, something slid under the surface, long and smooth. It passed without sound. And then another, and another. 4, maybe 5. Just below the waterline, circling in wide, slow arcs. I couldn't see their shapes fully, but they moved like they had purpose. Sharks, Jonas said under his breath. Black tips, I think. Eli leaned forward. How can you tell? Jonah didn't answer. He just started rowing faster, and so did Nathan. Neither of them said a word, but the skiff began to lurch forward harder with each pull. Sam reached down for the hammer in his bag and gripped it like it would make a difference. The boat started to wobble with the force of the strokes. Water splashed, the nose tilted. I tried to stay calm, but the air around me had gone thin, and every muscle in my body was bracing for something that I couldn't see. The island was close now, close enough to see the rock line clearly. No dock, no pass, just a broken shoreline and thick brush that came almost down to the water. A crooked tree leaned out over the water near a narrow stretch of beach, barely wide enough to stand on. It looked untouched, uninviting. And then came the hit. A soft thud followed by a jolt that rocked the skiff, like we had slammed into something just below the surface. "Reef!" Jonah barked. The boat tilted violently to one side and then the other. Water surged in through a crack below the center bench. Cold, fast, rising. Something heavy clattered against the boards. Maybe the hammer. A second later, one of the bags split open and spilled across the bench. Bread, a rope, a knife, all sliding toward the low side. Out! Somebody yelled. We didn't argue. We moved. The skiff was already sinking under us, one side dipping hard. I kicked off the bench and dove, not even sure if I was jumping or falling. Water swallowed me to the neck. The cold hit like a punch and my breath locked up in my chest. Behind me, splashing, gasping, limbs crashing into water. I could hear it all but didn't look back. The current fought harder than I'd expected. My arms were sluggish, my legs heavier than they should have been. I kicked toward shore, every breath shallow and burning. Something brushed past my foot, too fast to register, too soft to be a log. I didn't stop. The distance couldn't have been more than 30 yards, but it felt like swimming through glass. The kind that keeps pulling you down instead of letting you break through. When my fingers finally hit rock, I hauled myself forward so fast that I scraped both elbows raw. I didn't care. I just wanted to be out. One by one, the others crashed onto the beach behind me, crawling, dragging, and coughing up seawater. The skiff was already gone, either swallowed by the reef or drifting half-flooded back into the mist. None of us had our bags. No compass, no food, no knife. The hammer was probably at the bottom of the sea by now. Everything that we had packed was gone. We stood there, shivering, dripping, and catching our breath. One by one, we looked at each other, counting. 5 of us, no one missing, no one hurt, at least not badly. And then we looked around. It took a few seconds before anybody spoke. This is the same place, Sam said, slower this time. It's the same beach. It almost looked like it. The same crooked tree leaning out over the water like it was eavesdropping. The same cluster of black rocks jutting up along the curve of the cove. The same soft slope leading into the tree line beyond. Even the shape of the shoreline felt familiar, like we had looped through time instead of space. Jonah turned in a full circle, scanning the trees and the shore and then the water again. We didn't go anywhere, he said. His voice didn't sound angry, it sounded resigned. Eli was squinting at the ocean, his face tight. We rowed across. We saw the island. We laughed. He didn't say it like he was arguing. He said it like he was trying to remind himself. No one responded. We started walking slow at first, still trying to make sense of it. The beach had looked nearly identical to our own, but it wasn't. The rocks were a little too sharp. The slope rose at a slightly different angle. The tree line was thinner. The color of the grass not quite right. Close enough to confuse us, but different enough to keep us on edge. There was a narrow path leading off the beach and into the woods, just wide enough for 2 of us to walk side by side. None of us remembered it ever being there before. The air was different as we climbed, heavy and warm, like the weather had changed without warning. The trees swayed gently, but the grass up on the slope moved just a little too much. Jonah took the lead, Sam just behind him, then Nathan, Eli, and me. We had only made it about 30 or 40 paces up the trail when Nathan came to a stop. At first, I thought he was only catching his breath, but then I noticed where he was looking, up the slope toward the tall grass hugging the hillside. I followed his gaze, and froze. She was so close, a very tall woman. She wasn't walking, wasn't moving at all, just standing in the grass like she had been waiting for us to see her. No one spoke, no one moved. Even the wind kept going like she wasn't part of the world. The grass around her swayed. Her dress clung damply to her legs, but she didn't shift, didn't breathe. Her arms hung straight at her sides, too straight, too heavy, like she didn't know how they were supposed to work. She stood maybe 10 yards uphill, close enough to see the wrongness in how she carried herself. Her posture looked almost human, like a figure drawn from memory by someone who had never actually seen one. That's when I realized what had hooked in my brain. Everything around her moved, but she didn't. Not even a twitch. Do you see her? Eli's voice was low and tight, like he wasn't sure if he was talking to us or himself. Of course we saw her. None of us had looked away. It felt like blinking might break some invisible barrier and make her come closer. And then she smiled. I didn't understand why it made my stomach twist at first. It wasn't exaggerated, it wasn't monstrous. It was subtle, just wrong. Her mouth stretched into what should have been a smile, but the shape was off. The corners bent down instead of up, like someone had tried to mimic it from memory and gotten the geometry wrong. But the rest of her face, the parts that move when you smile, those were perfect. The cheeks lifted, the skin around her eyes crinkled. That mismatch was worse than anything else. Her eyes were kind, genuinely kind, not cold, not distant. She looked at us the way a mother looks at her children. There was warmth in her expression, and it made my skin crawl in a way that I still can't explain. I can tell you this. If I had known then what I now know about that woman, I would have turned and swum back out into the water. I would have taken my chances with the sharks. Gladly. She raised her arm. The motion was slow, unnatural, like her joints didn't belong to her. Her hand lifted until one long, stiff finger pointed straight at us. We didn't scream, we didn't run. We just started backing away, careful not to turn around, like we thought not facing her would make things worse. Sam bumped into Jonah, who muttered a curse under his breath. Why is she pointing at us? Sam asked, barely audible. Nobody answered. I kept watching her finger. Something felt off. The angle, it wasn't quite right. Eli squinted, stepping half a pace forward. Wait, he murmured. I don't think she's pointing at us. I looked from her finger to her face. He was right. Her eyes weren't on us. They were aimed just above our heads. Her arm cut across the air in a straight line. Not to us, but over us. And that's when I felt it. That slow pull in my gut. The primal feeling that something was behind me. We turned all at once and saw 5 people standing in the woods behind us, just beyond the path, half shaded by the trees. Not hidden, just waiting. They looked like us. Same height, same hair, same builds. But they were wrong in ways that you didn't notice at first. The clothes were mirrored, buttons on the wrong side, shoelaces tied in configurations that didn't make sense. Nathan's double had a tear in his shirt, but on the opposite side. Eli's double stood with arms crossed like he always did when nervous, except the arms were reversed. The left where the right should be. They weren't moving, just standing there perfectly spaced, aligned, like mannequins arranged in a storefront. We didn't speak. They didn't either. Just stared expressionless, like they were waiting for something. I stepped back without meaning to. The crunch of leaves underfoot sounded deafening. The air had changed. Not colder, not darker, but just wrong. Like the rules that we trusted had quietly stopped applying. I glanced back at the woman. She was still there, no longer pointing. Her body hadn't moved an inch, but her head was pushing forward. Just her head, tilting, straining toward us like it was being reeled in. Her neck stretched too far, vertebrae visible under her skin that looked too tight to bend. Like she was trying to close the distance without taking a step. Like she wanted to reach us with her face alone. She stared at us with that same backward smile, mouth bent into a shape sorrow should never take. And those warm, impossibly kind eyes. That contradiction, grief twisted into joy, settled in her face like it had always belonged there. Her eyes were on us now, not the doubles. Us. I could feel the weight of her attention pressing against my chest. Eli made a sound, a sharp, shaky breath, and that collapsed into a sob, quick and uncontrolled. That was all that it took. Her body didn't move, her face didn't change. She just opened her mouth and screamed. It didn't sound human. It didn't sound like anything that should exist. It started low, like the groaning of a ship under pressure, and then it rose into something sharp and metallic, like rusted metal being torn apart underwater. The pitch climbed beyond what a person should be able to produce. We hit the ground instantly, hands to our ears. The sound wasn't just loud, it was inside us, in our bones, our teeth, our skulls. Sam was yelling something, but I couldn't hear it. All I could hear was her. And then, it stopped. No fade, no echo. Just gone. The silence that followed hit just as hard. My hearing felt muffled, like I had been underwater. For a few seconds, I could only hear my own breathing, sharp and uneven. When I looked up, she was gone. And the others, the ones who looked like us, they were gone too. Disappeared without a trace, like they had never been there at all. I want to go back, Eli said behind us. His voice cracked halfway through. We shouldn't have come here. We need to leave. None of us answered. We didn't have a plan for any of this. We didn't even know what this was. I think we are home, Nathan muttered, but it came out wrong. No one agreed. No one even looked at him. Because whatever this place was, it only looked like home. And now it knew that we were here. We had no boat, no choice. So we moved inland. There wasn't a conversation about it, no group decision. Just a quiet understanding that staying where we were felt worse than pushing deeper into the island. We didn't know what we were looking for. Maybe shelter, maybe sense. But doing nothing seemed like asking for whatever came next. The forest swallowed us quickly. The path that had been there a few minutes ago disappeared behind a wall of brush and bark. The deeper we walked, the stranger everything became. The trees were wrong, not in obvious ways, nothing that would scream out to someone who had just arrived. But we knew trees. We had grown up climbing them, chopping them, counting the rings on ones that had fallen in storms. And these felt like copies, imitations, like something had tried to recreate them from memory and missed the proportions. Too many knots, branches that twisted back toward the trunk, bark that felt like damp cloth when your hand brushed past it. The ground was soft, but not with moss or leaves. It felt loose, like something had recently shifted underneath it. The air smelled like iron and mildew and something sweet rotting deeper into the woods. Eventually, we found a clearing no wider than a fishing boat. A fallen tree split it down the middle, half uprooted, with thick green moss crawling along its trunk like veins. Jonah sat down on it, hands on his knees, his face pale. "What was that?" he asked. No one had an answer. Sam was pacing again, running a hand through his hair over and over. Eli stood with his back to a tree, eyes scanning the brush as if he expected the woman, or something else, to step through it at any moment. And that's when we heard it. A click. Soft, mechanical, out of place. Not a branch snapping or the wind shifting, but the distinct sound of a latch lifting. A door opening somewhere ahead of us in the woods. None of us said to move toward it, but we did. No one suggested turning back. No one asked if we were sure. Maybe because saying it out loud would make it real. Or maybe because that sound, the quiet, metallic certainty of it, felt like a thread pulled taut. And we couldn't stop ourselves from following where it led. As we moved, the forest didn't grow thicker, it grew darker. The light filtering through the trees had lost its sharpness. Not just shade, like the sunlight itself had started to dim before it reached the branches. The air pressed in again, not sharp like on the beach. Heavier, like something watching it started to breathe. Eventually, the trees broke into another clearing. The grass here was shorter, yellowed and dry, crunching underfoot. And in the middle of it stood a house. None of us spoke at first. It wasn't broken down or ruined, just old, weathered boards and sun-faded paint. A small porch sloped slightly to one side, and the roof looked like it had sagged a little in the middle, like something heavy had once sat on it. It looked like the kind of house that somebody might still live in. We approached slowly, cautious, not curious. Something about it made our steps slow down without us talking about it. I kept scanning the windows, half expecting someone to be standing just behind them, watching. Nathan stopped before the others did. He tilted his head slightly and then pointed to the corner of the porch. "My dad made a post like that," he said quietly. "What do you mean?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. He walked a few steps closer, squinting at the frame around the door, and then to the woodwork under the windows. "It's like our house," he said. "It's not the same, but it's close." He stepped up onto the porch. We followed, hesitant. None of us wanted to be near the place, but nobody wanted to let Nathan go alone either. The door was already cracked open just a few inches. Nathan hesitated anyway, like something might still reach out and shut it. Nothing did, so we pushed it open the rest of the way. The smell hit first, just stale air into a wood, like a room that hadn't been opened in too long. The kind of place where dust doesn't float, it just settles into the walls. It looked small from the outside, but the inside felt deeper, bigger than it should have been, like the walls had stretched just enough to be wrong. Inside, the light was dim and orange tinted, like it was filtering through the wrong kind of glass. The hallway was narrow, a coat rack on one side, faint scuff marks on the floor. A chair in the corner that looked familiar, though I couldn't say why. Nathan stepped in first. We followed, slow. Nathan was quiet. He was looking at the photographs on the wall. They were of his family, his parents, his sister, him. But everything was reversed. His dad's watch was on the wrong wrist. His sister's birthmark had switched sides. The smiles looked normal at first until you stared too long, too symmetrical and too wide. To the right, a doorway led into what looked like a living room, mirrored. On our island, Nathan's living room was to the left when you walked in. Here it was flipped. Not just the layout, but everything. The furniture was the same kind. Not identical, but close. The same colors, the same wear patterns. The clock on the wall ticked just a half beat slower than it should have. The painting above the mantel showed a landscape that we all recognized, except the river ran the wrong direction. "I want to go," Eli said behind me. His voice was barely there. None of us answered, and we just kept looking. The room held us, not physically, but in a way that a nightmare does, where the air feels thick and stepping backward might wake something up. We weren't frozen, just slow, careful. Jonah was eyeing the bookshelf. Eli hovered near the fireplace. I stood by the wall, watching the second hand on the clock stutter with each tick. Sam moved toward the painting above the mantel, staring at it like he expected it to blink. No one talked. We were all too deep in it, scanning corners, studying the little wrong details, trying to figure out what this place was. And then Sam turned, brow furrowed. "Where's Nathan?" Every head snapped around. He wasn't there. He hadn't made a sound. No footsteps, no door creak. He had vanished like air. We searched the house fast, calling his name, moving from room to room in a rush that didn't feel loud, just clumsy. Like our panic didn't want to make noise but couldn't help it. And there weren't many places that he could have gone. The hallway led to a small kitchen, a stairwell, and a narrow back room with a locked door. Jonah tried the handle and found that it wouldn't budge. No light under the crack, and no sound from inside. Sam ran up the stairs two at a time, Eli and I close behind. They creaked under us like normal stairs, nothing theatrical, nothing dramatic. But every groan from the wood felt too sharp, like the house was responding. There were 2 bedrooms upstairs. One was empty, bare except for a bed frame and a window nailed shut. The second had a dresser, a mirror with a cracked corner and more photographs. A different version of Nathan's family. This time the faces were missing from some of the frames, blurred out or too dark to see. But no Nathan. When we reached the bottom, Jonah wasn't there. We found him just outside, a few steps off the porch, arms crossed. "I checked around the house too," he said, not looking at us. "He's not here." We stood there, all 4 of us, facing the house like it might give something back. The open door gaped in front of us, cold air leaking out like it didn't belong to this place. Sam looked at me. "Did we go back in?" No one replied. And then footsteps from inside. Slow, measured, getting closer. The porch creaked. Nathan stepped into the doorway. Just stood there like he had never left. His face was blank. His shirt was down. None of us spoke. No one moved. He stepped forward slowly, one hand brushing the frame like it grounded him. He looked rested, calm. His clothes were the same, but the fit seemed off, like they belonged to a version of him just slightly smaller, or built differently. He blinked, squinted at us, and then frowned, puzzled. "What?" he said. "Why are you all staring at me?" Eli was the first to speak. "Where did you go?" Nathan tilted his head. "What do you mean? I was upstairs." "We checked upstairs," I said. "Every room." Nathan looked at each of us one by one. His face was a blank at first, but then something shifted. A flicker of a smile that came and went too fast. Not warm, just performed. "I saw you," he said. "Through the railing. You were in the hall, you just walked off." That didn't make sense. We had torn through every room. He wasn't there. No one had seen him. And there was no way that he could have missed the noise that we made. I was watching his hands. Nathan always rubbed his thumb against his knuckle when he was nervous. A little tick, unconscious. This Nathan's hands were still, relaxed at his sides. He stepped down from the porch. None of us moved. Are we going? He asked. Same voice, same face, but the rhythm was off by a beat. Too calm, too smooth. No one answered. We just stared, waiting for something to twitch wrong. I opened my mouth to say something, but I couldn't make the words form. Not the right ones, anyway. We just started moving, brisk, determined, not quite running, but no longer willing to stop. The sky was dimming fast, and the woods were deepening in color, and everything around us seemed to press in with a quiet that felt more like watching than stillness. Jonah walked up front. Sam stayed beside me. Eli and Nathan trailed behind us, a little slower, not too far back at first. We were almost to the beach when it hit us. A voice cracked open behind us, rasping, high-pitched, like a throat trying to speak for the first time and tearing itself apart in the process. There was the shape of a word, but the sound didn't know how to hold it. We froze. None of us looked back. Run, Jonah said firmly. That was it. So we ran. Branches whipped our arms, roots caught our feet. The path bent the wrong way more than once, and every tree looked like one that we had already passed. But we kept moving, pushing forward through the tightening forest until the trees finally broke open again and we saw it. The dock, warped and crooked, half sunken at the far end. A boat was tied to it, not the one that we had taken, but something older, narrower, still afloat. We stopped at the edge of the road right next to the boats and turned. I checked to make sure that everybody was with us. Eli was not. I watched the clearing, expecting to see him jogging up behind, cursing or out of breath, but the bend in the path stayed empty. We waited. A few more seconds passed, and then we heard it. A scream, ragged and sharp, echoing through the trees like it didn't belong to a voice but something breaking. Not words, just pain. Jonah moved first. He stepped away from the boats, 1 foot toward the woods. And that's when she appeared. She walked slowly out from the bend of the clearing, circling into view. Cradled in her arms was Eli. He was still screaming. His body writhed, legs kicking, hands clawing at her shoulders. She didn't struggle, she didn't even seem to notice. Her arms were wrapped tightly around him, pulling him against her chest like a mother calming a child in the middle of a tantrum. Her face was fixed on us. Not Eli, not the forest, just us. Her eyes never left ours, like she wanted us to see everything, and we did. That same downward smile carved her mouth into a deep and strained curve. It looked like the expression had been sculpted into her face with wire, pulled tight and wrong. But her eyes told a different story. Soft, glassy, and full of warmth, like she was watching something beautiful unfold. As she held Eli tighter, her lips quivered slightly, as if the shape was difficult to maintain. Her cheeks twitched like they couldn't decide whether to frown or laugh. She was trying to be gentle. She wanted us to know that. Eli was screaming, but it wasn't just her. It was pain, real pain. The kind that stops sounding human. His arms pushed against her shoulders, clawing and slapping. Nothing that made a difference. His legs kicked out violently, his whole body thrashing like an animal in a snare. The heels of his boots barely scraped against the dirt as he was being held out. And still, she looked at us, like we were the ones she was holding. Sam made a sound, half a sob, half a curse, and stepped forward. Jonah grabbed his arm. "We can't," he whispered, his voice cracking. "We can't." But we all took a step away. I did. I felt my foot move before I meant it to, like something in me couldn't stand still and watch. And then Eli screamed again, louder this time, high and desperate and raw at the edges. The kind of sound that burns your throat even when you're not the one making it. He kept kicking, kept trying. She didn't flinch, didn't tighten her grip suddenly. It wasn't violence, it was pressure, steady and controlled, like she was soothing him into silence, one bone at a time. His screams of agony unraveled into a choking, broken gasp, like even his voice was giving out. And then we heard it. A single crack, subtle, quiet, like a thick branch snapping underfoot. Eli jerked once in her arms, and then stopped moving. His head lolled against her shoulder. His arms dangled at his sides, empty of fight. She didn't stop smiling.
Yeah, we gotta repair.
She held him there, still watching us, her eyes locked onto ours like she wanted to see what we would do next. Her fingers brushed his back in slow, meaningless circles, like she was soothing him to sleep.
Yeah, my shaman's dagger is like at 1% like durability, like it may as well.
I just moved. The boat scraped against the rock as we pulled it into the water. Nathan hadn't spoken. I looked at him once, just once, and wished that I hadn't. He wasn't crying, wasn't breathing hard. He was standing completely still, watching her. And there was something small and soft at the corner of his mouth. An attempted smile. Just enough to be seen, and just enough to be wrong. We climbed into the boat and pushed off. No one looked back except me. She was still standing at the edge of the trees, Eli's body limp against her chest, one arm wrapped around him like he was hers, and the other lifted slowly. She waved. We didn't speak on the water. None of us had touched the oars at first. The tide pulled us gently, like the sea itself was too tired to fight. The sun had almost slipped beneath the horizon, casting everything in that strange, copper light that makes the world feel unreal. Like you're seeing it through memory instead of your own eyes. Jonah finally took one oar, Sam the other. I sat in the middle, arms locked around my knees, staring at the ripple patterns trailing behind us. I don't remember when we lost sight of the mirrored island. I just remember the moment the real one came into view. The same island that we left. Same houses, same hills, same docks. But we didn't come back whole. One of us was dead, and one of us came back wrong. There was a crowd at the shoreline. People from the village, parents, a few older brothers, a grandmother with her arms folded tight. They weren't shouted or pacing or scanning the horizon. They just stood there like they had been waiting. The boat scraped against the sand. Hands reached out. My father, Sam's mother, and Jonah's uncle. They helped us out without a word, their eyes flicking from face to face, counting. When they didn't find Eli, no one said it out loud. They just knew. His mother began to cry, quiet at first, and then sharp and shuddering. His father stood behind her, unmoving, staring past us at the horizon like he was still hoping to see his son come into view. One of the older villagers, maybe the priest, maybe just someone who had done this before, put a hand on her back and gently led her away. She didn't resist, just let herself be led, walking like someone made of paper. Someone reached for Nathan and pulled him ashore, calm and deliberate. His mother rushed forward next, throwing her arms around him, clutching him so hard that it looked painful. She was crying too, but it was different. Her hands twisted in the back of his shirt, but her face stayed tense, like she was trying to convince herself that this was really him. Like she already knew she would have to let go again. Nathan didn't hug her at first. He stood stiff for a second, and then slowly he wrapped his arms around her. When she pulled back to look at him, something shifted in her face. Her hand stayed on his shoulders, but her fingers had gone stiff. Her eyes scanned him like she didn't recognize what she was holding. Nathan smiled. "You're holding me like I died." His voice was almost playful. Almost. He let out a small laugh, quiet and thin, like he wasn't sure if the joke had landed. It was too practiced. It started too fast and ended too late, hanging in the air like it didn't know when to stop. His smile stayed in place, but it didn't settle right. The corners of his mouth began to pull down instead of up. At first, it looked like a twitch, and then it kept going, bending further, stretching the muscles in his face into that same strained expression that we had seen on her. A smile that was trying to mimic joy, but failing at the geometry of it. His eyes didn't match it. They looked heavy, glassy, and full of something that didn't belong in a smile. Regret, maybe, or grief. He wasn't afraid, just resigned. Like something inside him understood what came next and didn't try to fight it. His mother let go of his arms. She took a step back, one hand covering her mouth. Behind her, the others had already started to move. They didn't raise their voices, they didn't argue. It was as if the whole village had already made peace with what needed to happen. A few men stepped forward. Jonah's uncle, Sam's father, a neighbor I didn't know by name. Nathan didn't resist. He didn't ask why. He just stood there, shoulders low, his eyes still on his mother. One hand reached for his sleeve, another for his collar. They escorted him to the sea like they had done it before. No ceremony, no shouting, just the sound of the tide and the low murmur of footsteps on wet sand. They held him under until the waves stopped moving around them, and then they let him go. I still wonder if the real Nathan died in that house, or if we left him there alive, watching us walk away. Sometimes I think what came back with us wasn't pretending. I think it believed it was him. We begged our parents to send someone back. A boat, a search party, anything. But they just looked through us like we hadn't spoken. Like we hadn't seen what we saw. And by the next day, no one even said his name.
Hey, I'm Charlie. You're the new nurse, right? Yeah, I figured. You got that nervous energy. It's alright, don't sweat it. Happens to everybody on their first day here. I'll show you around in a bit, but first, let me tell you a little about myself. It helps to understand why we're working here. I used to be like every other kid with pushy parents. You know the type. Straight A's, science fair ribbons, thick textbooks with tiny print. My mom was a school teacher, and my dad was a dentist. They didn't say it out loud, but they always had that look in their eyes when they talked about Dr. Charles. That's me, by the way. Or at least it was supposed to be. I didn't mind, really. I liked learning. Biology made sense. Chemistry was like a puzzle. I liked putting things in order, you know, understanding how things worked, even if people didn't. And when I didn't like it, well, I just kept going. That's what you do when your parents sacrifice their vacations and eat store-brand cereal so they can save up for your MCAT prep courses. Well, college was a blur of lectures, late nights, and frozen burritos. I wasn't the smartest guy in my class, but I was the one who never quit. You'd find me face down on my desk in the library at 2 a.m., half my dinner still stuck to my cheek. I got through pre-med, then med school, passed the exams, did the rotations, interned in hospitals that smelled like bleach and old coffee. I was doing the thing. You know, the thing. The one everyone talks about like it's the only thing worth doing. And still, something felt off. I was surrounded by other students, other future doctors, all hunched over their laptops like machines. And I started to wonder, was this it? That's when I found Grimlings. It wasn't even a part of the program. I stumbled on it by accident when I was out driving to a rural clinic for a volunteer weekend. Took a wrong turn somewhere between Pine Hollow and nowhere. No signal. Dead GPS. I saw this long iron gate and a crooked little sign that said Grimley's Home. And I don't know why, but I turned in. That was 5 years ago. My parents were confused when I told them I was staying. A retirement home, my mom said. Like I told her I was becoming a street magician. Is it even credited? Dad had asked. I told them it didn't matter. I liked it here. They didn't get it, but they don't complain when I help cover their mortgage now and then. Now you're probably wondering what's so special about Grimlings. Why a guy like me would give up the city hospitals for this old building in the middle of the woods. Why I stay. Why I smile when I walk these halls. You'll see. But first, let me tell you about the place. Grimley started out like any other retirement home. Beige walls, soft music, long hallways that made your knees creak just looking at them. You know the type. It smelled like soup and hand lotion and carpet that had soaked up 100 spills too many. Nothing special. Just another quiet building where old folks went to slow down and fade out. Then, Mr. Grimley made that deal with a demon. It was before my time here, but I still remember the first time I heard about it. I was in the break room, back when we still had the old vending machine that ate your coins, and Martha, the night nurse, was peeling an orange with that little pocket knife she always carries. She didn't look at me when she said it. Grimley didn't always look like that, you know. I glanced up from my sandwich. Like what? She just smiled, a tired smile. Well, keep working here, you'll see. And I did. I first saw him 2 weeks in. It was early, maybe 5 a.m., and I was doing supply counts in the east hallway, the one with the floorboards that dipped like a boat. He came around the corner slow, dragging one foot. His cane clicked once with every third step. He moved like the hallway was too narrow for him, though he barely took up any space. I remember the smell first. Clove smoke. Faint but sharp. The scent of something burned and bitter just under it. Like someone had torched a library book and then tried to hide the ashes in their coat pocket. He nodded as he passed. Polite. But I couldn't move. Not right away. Because there were no eyes. Just smooth, pale skin where they should have been. No sockets, no lids, no scars. Like someone had decided he didn't need them anymore and removed them clean. like erasing pencil marks. He didn't stop, didn't speak, just disappeared into the dark end of the hallway, his cane echoing like a clock you'd forgotten to wind. Later, I asked around. No one gave me the full story, not all at once. I had to piece it together, little by little. A phrase here, a warning there, but it always came back to the same thing. New Orleans. Apparently, years ago, Grimly packed a single bag, locked the front doors, and drove south. Didn't say why. Didn't leave instructions. He was gone for just under 3 weeks. When he came back, the staff found him standing outside the front gate at dawn. His shoes were covered in black river mud. His hands were shaking. He didn't say a word. From then on, he walked with a limp. He stopped speaking in full sentences, and he never blinked. The building changed with him. Lights flickered more than usual, like the wiring was tired. The walls felt older. Rooms stayed cold, no matter how high you turned the heat. And then came the visitors. They didn't ring the bell. They didn't call ahead. Some were brought in the back of silent black cars. Some walked in on their own, dragging old suitcases, dressed like it was still 1932. One showed up wearing a suit made of stitched feathers and glass buttons. No one ever asked where they came from. No one had to. Grimly took them in. He'd stand by the front door, just nod once, and they'd pass by like he'd been expecting them for years. Some stayed a month, others longer. A few never left their rooms at all. And the staff adjusted, quietly, carefully. We stopped asking why room 9 only opened inward, even though it was built like every other door in the building. We learned that you don't serve soup to room 17 unless it's tomato with a cracked pepper rim, and you knock twice on room 4's door, then step back. Always step back. No one ever said the word monster, but sometimes you don't need to. Because eventually, you realize this place isn't just a retirement home. It's a resting ground. A halfway space between life and whatever comes next. For the ones who stayed hidden long enough to grow old. And it's our job to care for them. So, welcome to Grimly's home for retired monsters. We have some rules. Rule 1. Only polish the silver after the werewolves go to bed. No exceptions. Now I know what you're thinking. Polish the silver? I signed up to give meds and maybe mop a spill. I didn't come here to clean spoons like a servant in a haunted hotel. Trust me, I get it. But here we all pitch in. Grimly's is understaffed. Always has been. The cook's got a wooden leg, and the dishwasher won't touch anything round. Don't ask. Point is, when it comes to jobs that no one else wants to do, sometimes they fall to whoever's around. And that includes silver polishing. You'll find the case of silverware in the locked cabinet next to the kitchen door. Black wood, brass trim, heavy thing with a dial lock. The code's 1019. You'll forget it. That's fine. Someone will remind you. We always do. Now, the silver. Yes, real silver. Not plated, not fake. The forks and knives gleam like they're made of frozen lightning when they're clean. And they have to be clean. Witches don't like dull edges. Says it messes with the purification. Something about vibrations. Or residue from human hands. I don't argue. You won't either. Not once you've seen what happens when a spell rebounds into the soup line. We had a macaroni incident once. Let's just say no one eats shell pasta anymore. But the thing is, and this is important, you cannot, under any circumstances, polish the silver when the werewolves are awake. I mean it. They hate silver. I don't mean they're allergic. I mean they hate it. The way you hate that sound a fork makes when it scrapes a plate. Except for them, it's worse. It burns. If you bring polished silver into the East Lounge while they're playing cards, you might as well toss a hot coal at their feet. And most of the time they won't yell, they won't snarl, they'll just grab the nearest thing, a tray, a chair leg, a blunt fork, and jab it into your side like they're poking at a stubborn tent post. That's what happened to Daniel. Good guy. Didn't last. Now about bedtime. The werewolves live down the east wing, past the double doors with the scratched brass handles. Their rooms are close to the laundry chute because they shed like it's a sport. They take dinner around 7. Pork, mostly. Sometimes turkey legs. Then they shuffle back to their rooms, listen to the radio, and by 8:30 they're out cold. Usually. Don't take chances though. Give it until 9:15 just to be safe. You'll know they're asleep when the hallway lights stop buzzing. You'll hear the beds creak, one after another. The sound rolls down the hall like bowling pins tipping over in slow motion. Then it's safe to unlock the cabinet. Take your time with the polish. Use the green cloth, not the blue. The blue scratches. Sit by the far window in the dining room. Keep the tray in your lap. Don't spread out. One of the witches might come by for tea, and you don't want to be in her spot. Trust me. You'll do this once a week. Twice if room 12 throws another tantrum and dumps the salad tongs into the koi pond again. Now let me tell you about Mr. Randall. He's the main reason this rule exists. Not the only one, but the loudest. Room 22. First door on the left when you enter the east wing. Old werewolf. Fur the color of fireplace ash. Walks with a limp. Not from age, but from a hunting accident in '59. He never talks about it. He does talk about the war, though no one's quite sure which one he means. He's got a thing about forks. Not knives, just forks. Especially blunt ones. Back when I was new, I asked Martha why he always had one tucked into his sock. For balance. And because once someone tried to hand him a silver butter knife during brunch, she said. What happened? She just looked at me and said, "Don't ask. Just remember this. Bacon donuts." That's what keeps Mr. Randall calm. Not tea, not pills, not soft music. Bacon donuts. We keep a box in the walk-in freezer labeled emergency, Randall. If he starts getting twitchy, you bring one out and leave it near the bingo table. Don't hand it to him. Just leave it. He'll find it. Like a cat with a guilty conscience. He's not all bad. Sometimes he tells jokes. Dry ones, but still. He can be sweet when he wants to be. You just don't want to be around him when he's not in the mood. Especially if you're holding silver. We had a temp nurse last spring, Jared. Thought the rules were more like guidelines. You know the type. One night, he decided to get a head start on silver polishing. Said he had plans after his shift. Wouldn't listen when we warned him. Went into the east dining room at 8:30. Mr. Randall caught the shine of a polished ladle from the hallway. Didn't say a word. Just walked up behind Jared.
What am I attacking? Why is it not
stabbed
dead?
him in the ribs
It's
with
a
the
servant
blunt
of
end.
Grawl, and it's
The
meant to
rag
be
would
a
start to blacken
what you calls
after
it?
the third
A
fourth.
quest mob that only
That's
dies
normal.
when like you click
You'll
like a
smell the
room,
polish in
like
your
that
nose
thing
for
over
the
there.
rest
There's a
of the
crystal
night.
back there.
It sticks to your fingers.
You're meant to
no
click
matter
that,
how
then
many
it
times
dies.
you rinse.
So I'm using it as
Use
like
the
a
deep
target
sink,
dummy
not
to
the
level
kitchen
up
one.
my
That drain
weapon
their
skills,
backs out when you
basically.
run hot water too long. You'll hear footsteps sometimes. You'll want to look. Don't. It's usually the janitor or something pretending to be him. Either way, keep your eyes down. Keep the rhythm going. Buff, flip, rinse, stack. Every once in a while, one of the lights will flicker above you. Just enough to remind you this place doesn't run on electricity alone. The dining room clock is slow by about 4 minutes, so finish the tray before it hits 10. Stack the finished silver in the red bin, not the blue one. The blue bin is for spoons used during night tea, and you don't want to touch those. Once you're done, wipe the table. Put the rag in the metal pail under the sink. And when you pass room 22 on the way back, walk lightly. If you hear
Oh, that's
something
pretty
shift
cool. I
behind the
never
door,
seen this before.
just keep
It
walking.
goes by Chew.
No one's
Was that
watching
meant
to
for
see
someone
how well
else?
you follow the rules,
Chewy?
but they will know if you
Wiped
don't.
you in a Strat UD?
So remember
What?
the first
A
rule.
DPS?
Only
Or a
polish the
tank?
silver after the werewolves go to bed. Rule number 2. If you hear coughing from the crawl space, offer a candy through the vent. I know how that sounds. I remember the first time I heard it. I thought it was a joke Martha was pulling on the new guy. She has a mean streak sometimes. Likes to see how far she can push people. So when she handed me a crumpled packet of candy cough drops and said, "Hold on to these. They're for the crawl space, vampire," I thought she was messing with me. Then I heard the coughing. It was somewhere deep behind the east wing, in the wall, just
I
above the
mean,
long hallway.
you
There's a
can.
fire exit that doesn't
Like, this
open.
is my shaman tank
It
right
sounded
here
like a
that I'm
cat
using
being strangled underwater.
to tank this thing, so I can just kind of AFK on
Broken.
this.
Jagged
Yeah, I've
claws,
tanked
too sharp to
Strath
be a
UD
human
and
bite too
live
regular to be a raccoon.
with guildies.
That's Gary.
But yeah,
He
it can
used
be
to a
done.
vampire.
I don't recall
A real
wiping.
one.
Like, dude
Back
probably
when
doesn't know how
meant
to like LOS pull with lightning
Long
bolt or
coat,
something.
Big collar, eyes like river stones, the whole bit. Had the voice, the stare, the cape with a ridiculous red lining. You know the type. He was part of some old noble house, maybe Romanian, maybe Hungarian, depending on who's telling it. They say he was supposed to be one of the big ones, the lords. But something went wrong. Apparently, he fed on something, or someone, he shouldn't have. Maybe a priest. Maybe a dying witch. Either way, the blood twisted him. Didn't kill him, but turned him half bad. And not the good kind. He got stuck somewhere between states. His wings are too short now. His arms bent weird. He can't shift back cleanly anymore, so he mostly crawls. Lives in the crawl space between the walls and the insulation. He doesn't like people seeing him. Says it's a pride thing. But the guy's throat sounds like it's made of gravel and regret. Must be from breathing in dust and fiberglass for 30 years. Every few nights you'll hear it. Deep, rattling coughs bouncing through the vents. At first you'll think the building's about to collapse. Then you'll hear the wheezing and a sort of muttering
drinking
in
beer.
broken Romanian.
It's Laker Ice.
That's when you go to the main vent near the supply closet. Kneel down, and shake the cough drop pack upward. If you do it right, you'll see a pale, gnarled hand.
Man, this guy is still yapping about the rules. I would have forgot like most of these by now. Like this is like 20 minutes in of this guy's like, so you gotta do this and you gotta jump through these hoops and shit. It's like, Jesus, dude. I would have walked out at that point.
And then quiet. That's Gary. He won't hurt you. He just coughs a lot. And he likes someone to talk to, if they can understand him. First time I said hi, he surprised me. I crouched near the vent and said, "You okay in there?" There was a pause, and then a voice. "Do you have one that tastes like mint, but also like salt?" "You mean the original one?" Yes, the original. It tastes like funeral."
It's a creepypasta. Or it's supposed to be a creepypasta.
Specific.
Just like, it's kind of like listening to like a visual novel, but I mean it's same thing, but it's just like spookier themed.
Even though he couldn't see me. "You must go through a ton of these, huh?" A short, hoarse chuckle came through the vent. "No, only on Thursdays. And when I think about poetry, that is most days." I laughed a little. "So, I gotta ask you, do you even have teeth anymore?" Silence. And then... rude. And that was how I met Gary. I bring him cough drops every time I'm on shift now. Sometimes he tells stories in half English, half grumble. I nod a lot, smile where it feels right. It doesn't matter if I understand everything. You don't really come to work at Grimley's to have normal conversation. You come to make sure the guy in the vents doesn't start coughing so loud it wakes up.
So how are you doing, Gumperson?
Which brings us
How was your day? I had like a really kind of a convoluted, busy day. Not really. I was trying to get temporary license plates for like this really classic ass truck that we got. But it's so ancient. It's like 53 years old. Like when I went there, they're like, yeah, this needs like an appraisal before we can like get you the plates. So I had to go to this guy that can do appraisals and then back. And yeah, I just hate driving around in the nearby town. Yeah.
Herbs. Don't breathe too deep. You'll get dizzy. Like your thoughts are wearing the wrong
Like it has like a shit ton of construction basically happening there.
To the left. The witches don't sleep much. They nap. They brew. They hum to themselves in languages no one's translated. Their rooms are always warm. The doors are always closed, except when they aren't. And if you walk by and they're open, keep walking. Now they'll offer you tea. Sometimes they come out smiling. Sometimes they just hold out a chipped cup with something steaming inside. It won't look dangerous. Might smell like apple or ginger or vanilla. That's the trap. You drink it, and maybe you wake up with an extra toe. Maybe your hair falls out in patches. Maybe you lose something small, like your wallet, or your car keys, or worse, 5 teeth. And maybe you won't notice what you lost until 3 weeks later, when it's too late to ask for it back. The witches don't do this to be mean. It's not personal. They're just curious. And that's worse. Martha's the only one they like. She's been here longer than anyone but Grimley. She drinks their tea, and it doesn't touch her. They call her Old Bone Friend, which I don't love, but she seems okay with it. Sometimes they make her little gifts. Jars of blue fireflies. Bread that sings when you cut it. She keeps the stuff on a shelf in the nurse's office. She tells me their tea, when they're not playing tricks, is the best she's ever had. I wouldn't know, I have never touched it. And you shouldn't either. Even if they're smiling, even if they call you dear, even if they're holding a pretty little cup that smells like your grandmother's kitchen. Say no. Say you're fasting. Say you're allergic to root. I don't know, just make something up and keep walking. Because once you take their tea, you're no longer a visitor. You're part of the game. And they don't always play fair. So remember, don't accept any tea from the West Wing. Rule 4. Do not interrupt card games.
That alliance wasn't there that long.
And don't sit in. Not even if they smile. Not even if they pull out a chair just for you. Just say you've got mopping to do and get going. Now room 12 is at the far end of the north hallway. Quiet most of the time. Then some nights, without warning, you'll see the glow from under the door. You'll hear the low sound of cards being shuffled, slow, heavy. The kind of sound that makes you stop mid-step, like something important's happening in there. It always starts small, a candle lit behind the window, the soft scrape of a chair leg on wood, and then they gather. The monsters in room 12 aren't new. They're not even especially dangerous by today's standards, but they're old, real old. Older than the country, older than paper cards. Some of them knew how to play before humans knew how to read, and they've been making deals since the beginning. That's what you need to understand. This isn't just a game to them. It's an urge, a pattern burned into their blood. Monsters used to make deals with humans all the time. You know the stories. Trade me your soul and I'll make you rich. Give me your name and I'll give you power. Let me take your firstborn and I'll keep your village safe. It wasn't just evil. It was a system. Rules, stakes, terms. They made bargains because that's what monsters do. And we, stupid as ever, we played along. Now those days are over. But the monsters, well, they're still here. And they still play. The regulars change a little, but some you'll see again and again. There's Grin, the old werewolf with a half-missing ear. He wears a glove with the fingers cut off and keeps a silver tooth in his front pocket. Won it off a friend centuries ago. He's been quiet lately, but when he plays, he grinds his teeth until the cards tremble. Bella's there too. A mermaid, long since dried out. Her hair hangs like seaweed, and she carries her own chair, lined with soaked towels. She smells like moldy stone and carries her own deck in a sealed box. Says she doesn't trust the house cards. Next to her is Cobb. You'll hear him before you see him. His coat drips steadily, even when he hasn't touched water in years. Drowned long ago, but still plays with the luck of someone who hasn't figured out they're dead. He tosses coins from vanished empires like they're pennies. And then there's Mary, a banshee, we think. Nobody knows for sure. She hums through her nose and stares at the cards like they're people she's waiting to bury. Never talks unless she's betting. The rest come and go. An ogre with tiny hands, A vampire who lost his fangs but kept his appetite for deals. A fairy woman who only spoke Latin but could recite Hamlet. Every chair's got a name etched underneath it, but they swap them around just to confuse staff. And always they're playing. But here's the rule that matters. If you're human, you don't have anything they want. Not really. They don't take food or money or anything you'd find in your pockets. If they ask you to sit in, they're being polite. What they really mean is, are you willing to part with your flesh? Because they will ask. You'll be sweeping the hallway, and someone from inside will call your name. They'll say, "We've got a hand open, just one round." They'll sound kind, warm, almost normal. But the moment you step in, they'll start looking at you the way old merchants look at fresh customers. They'll ask you what you've brought to wager. And if you try to joke, they'll laugh with you, but not kindly. Because the only thing they accept from humans is what's still attached. A thumb joint, a molar, a sliver of a rib, maybe just a pinky if the stakes are low. Something that can be taken, handed over, held in their palms, and passed across the table like an old coin. We had a guy once, Donnie, new nurse, fresh out of school. They invited him in. He sat, bet his wisdom tooth. He came out smiling, said he'd won a silver comb with owl feathers worked into the spine. Showed it to me. Looked ordinary. Next day he called in sick, said his whole jaw was aching. By the end of the week, he'd pulled 2 more teeth on his own. Said the others were getting jealous. He quit not long after. I asked Martha once why they do it, why it still matters. We were folding linens behind the West Supply Room. She said, "Oh, it's what they've always done. Monsters make deals. We offer, they take. That's the shape of it. But we're not offering anymore." She gave me a look. Sure we are. Every time one of us opens the door. Every time we stand there too long. And she was right. That's the problem. They don't need to go out into the world anymore. They just wait, play their games, and sometimes we're stupid enough to walk in. It's not that they're cruel, exactly. They're just used to it. Used to making rules, holding power, sitting behind tables, waiting for a nod and a handshake. Doesn't matter that they're old. Doesn't matter that they're in a home now. The deal-making part never left. And that's why you don't go near room 12 when the game's on. Don't interrupt. Don't joke. Don't play. Because they've been doing this longer than your bloodline's been alive. And the only rule they follow now is the same one they always did. If you come to the table, you better be ready to leave something behind. Rule 5. Never go to room 32. Room 32 is at the end of the hallway on the 3rd floor. You'll recognize it right away. The door is painted red. Not bright red like a fire truck or lipstick, but dull, faded, almost like it's been soaking in rust for too long. The hallway leading up to it stretches longer than the others, and none of the staff go up there unless we absolutely have to. The number on the door is bolted into the wood off-center, a cheap metal plate screwed in unevenly. The cleaning schedule skips room 32 entirely, and no one questions it. Cook delivers a tray once a week, always on Tuesdays. It's just raw meat on a flat tin, nothing else. He leaves it on the floor beside the door without knocking, and he walks away with his head down. I've never seen anyone open that door, and neither has anyone else on staff. Only Mr. Grimley knows what's behind it. He's the one who brought the resident in. There wasn't any moving truck, no visitors, no admission paperwork. One day the room was empty. The next, it had a number and a weekly meat delivery. People talk, even when they shouldn't. And over the years, the story settled into something simple. The thing behind that red door is the boogeyman. Not a boogeyman. The boogeyman. The one you were scared of as a kid when your parents left the lights off too long and the hallway was too quiet after dinner. The one who lived in closets and under beds and waited for nights when nobody tucked you in. I used to be terrified of him. When I was 7, my parents were both working overnight shifts, and I'd lie awake staring at the shape of my jacket hanging on a chair across the room, convinced it was his hand reaching. The boogeyman is what monsters talk about when they want to remind each other that even they have lines they don't cross. You see, most monsters don't hurt kids. They scare them, yes. They hide under their beds, scratch at the windows, groan in the floorboards. But harm them, that's different. There's something in monsters that makes them avoid children, not always out of mercy, but out of order. Some say it's instinct, others say it's respect. The young are supposed to be off limits. It's not a written law, and no one explains it out loud, but you feel it. Some of the older monsters ask about the local schools. One of the sea witches knits little mittens and donates them anonymously to the town church. The ones who have lived long enough don't want to cause harm to anyone. Not to anyone who hasn't had a chance to live yet. The rest are fair game. But the boogeyman never followed that rule. He hurt children, not to teach them, not to protect them, not even for revenge. He did it because he liked it. He took them from their homes while their parents fought or drank or simply stopped paying attention. He crawled out from under cribs, out of basement doors that shouldn't have opened, and snatched them up before they even had time to cry. He didn't just scare them, he ate them. Hundreds, maybe more. Towns would try to cover it up. Parents would deny it. But too many children vanished for it to be ignored. Eventually, the story stopped being warnings and turned into bedtime threats. The numbers became too high to hold on to. They faded into statistics, into urban legends, into something everyone remembered being afraid of, but didn't believe had ever been real. But he was real. And now he's here. Grimley won't say where he found him, or why he brought him in. Maybe he thought the boogeyman was too dangerous to be out there. Maybe he thought he was too old to keep going. Or maybe it was part of the deal Grimley made down in New Orleans, the kind that changed this place for good. Whatever the reason, Room 32 is his cell now. The other residents don't talk about him. I've asked carefully once or twice. Mary, the banshee, who glares at anyone who forgets to steep her tea, once looked up from her knitting and said, "There's evil, and then there's him." She didn't explain further. No one ever does. So you don't go near that door. You don't touch it. You don't even stare at it too long, even if you're just walking past. Don't even joke about it. Don't ask Grimly what's inside, and you certainly don't ask what he looks like, because the only person who knows is the man who brought him here. And he's not sharing. We don't know what's behind that door. We only know that we should never find out. And that's it. Yeah, I think training's done. You've made it through all the rules.
Holy fuck.
The whole
They were still talking about the fucking training?
And I haven't had to fish you out of the crawl space.
Is that the
or
end of
patch
the
you up with
the
duct
video?
tape. Now you know what we're dealing with.
Okay, yeah, that was like
You know
40
not to
minutes of
polish the silver
instructions.
until the werewolves are asleep.
Okay.
You know the cough in the walls isn't a rat. That's Gary. And he just wants candy. You know to stay away from the witch's tea and farther from their jokes. You know what a card game in room 12 actually means and why your teeth and fingers aren't worth a game of fairy poker. You even know about the red door on the 3rd floor, and more importantly, you know to leave it alone. That's the job. Grimley's isn't like any other retirement home. There are no activity boards, no Hawaiian shirt Fridays, no jazz playing softly from a Bluetooth speaker. Now don't get spooked. Not all monsters are cruel, but not all are kind either. Like anyone old, they're just tired, picky, stubborn, and set in their ways. They lived strange, long lives, and now they're here, trying to wind down in peace, if that's even possible, for something that used to eat people whole or scream villages into madness. And it's our job to make that peace possible. You, me, the rest of the staff. Grimly himself in his own way. All that's left now is your first shift. And hey, would you look at the clock? It's 9:30. That means the werewolves are in for the night. Start small, unlock the silver cabinet, take out the tray, use the green cloth, sit by the dining room window. Breathe. Stay alert. It's a simple job, until it isn't. Welcome to Grimley's.
That is way too many fucking rules, like... I don't think I would remember all that shit.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. Special thank you to all my patrons. If you'd like to become a supporter on Patreon, there's a link in the description. I hope you have a great night, and thanks for watching.
Listen to some WoW lore.
The Horde in World of Warcraft have always been a unique force on Azeroth. They're a conglomeration of the disparate outcasts of the fringe factions on the planet. Each playable race all have their own unique reasons for joining the Horde. Some join through fleshed out methods of storytelling and world building, others not so much. But in order to understand why each race joined the Horde, we need to understand how the Horde as we know it today was even founded in the first place. We'll start right at the end of the Second War on Azeroth, so right after the second Warcraft game. And the Horde lost this war. Pretty bad, actually. During these two wars, the orcs invaded Azeroth all hyped up on demon blood, which made them giga-powerful, bloodthirsty, mean, and green. But now that demon blood was wearing off, leaving them with a nasty, lethargic hangover, and during their years-long murder bender, they forgot all about their orcish culture that they had developed on their home planet of Draenor. So after the orcs lost the Second War, they either fled back to their home world, or they were rounded up and placed in camps by the Alliance. One of these captured orcs was named Thrall, and he joined Orgrim Doomhammer and helped in liberating these captured orcs and helped leading them in their old, traditional, honorable orcish ways. This was a new era for the orcs. Now, they were focused on their own self-preservation in this strange new world they found themselves in, and this is effectively a soft reboot for the faction as a whole. During the orcs' liberation, Orgrim Doomhammer dies, and Thrall takes his place as the new war chief of the Horde, and he gets to wear Doomhammer's armor and wield his fancy weapon. Sometime later, deep in the war chief's sleep, suddenly, he's granted a vision.
What the fuck was that? I thought I saw something for like a second here. Something was there just briefly.
I need you to travel
like a
to
name.
the continent of Calibur. It's like super important, man. So Thrall and the Horde steal some Alliance boats and set sail for the continent of Kalimdor. But on their way, they get caught up in a storm and settle on a remote island. While on the island, Thrall meets Senjin, the aged witch doctor and chieftain of the Darkspear tribe. And even by troll standards, which are typically unsuccessful, the Darkspear had quite the troubled past. The tribe was originally from Stranglethorn Vale, but were bullied out of the forest by the other troll tribes. The Darkspear then fled to the island they are on now, but more recently, a Koltiran expedition of humans established an outpost on the island and are hunting down Thrall's band of orcs. Even worse, a tribe of Murlocs are sacrificing people in order to please a Naga sea witch. This entire scenario happens in Warcraft 3, and during the campaign, the orcs and the trolls team up to eliminate the human threat, but the Murlocs take Senjin and Thrall by surprise and capture them. And I think a lot of people forget that Murlocs weren't always just like these silly little comic relief fish people. Like in Warcraft 3, they had some deep, intimidating ass voices.
Your meddling magics will no longer interfere with our plans, Leonard.
Thrall fights back against the Murlocs, but Senjin is sacrificed by the evil amphibian creatures. And with his last dying breath, he asks Thrall to take his tribe with him because the Sea Witch just cursed this place and a volcano just erupted and the whole island is sinking. So Thrall, the orcs, and the Darkspear trolls and their new leader, Vol'jin,
There it is
Senjin's
again.
son,
Or was that my
all pile
totem
into their
disappearing? I
boats
think that's what
and set
I
sail
saw
for
earlier.
Kalimdor. The Darkspear
Yeah,
trolls
okay, that's what I
established
saw.
themselves in Durotar and the Echo Isles. Finally, the Darkspear trolls had a place they could call home. Throughout history, they had been plagued with famine and war, but now, as a part of the Horde, they can start to build a life of prosperity with their newly found Horde allies.
Someone call for the doctor?
The Horde then meet the Tauren, who have a very similar story to the orcs and trolls. The Tauren are a tribal, shamanistic race who have lived in harmony with nature for generations. Only recently, the Centaur have been encroaching on their lands and threaten to drive the Tauren to extinction. Thrall meets the Tauren leader, Karen Bloodhoof, and helps the cow people claim the lands of Mulgore, and in return, the Tauren join the Horde.
For the Horde.
So far, this whole reinvention of the Horde has been told through Warcraft 3, and this game ends with the Horde helping fight back a demonic invasion and then building the city of Orgrimmar. So right now, there are 3 races in the Horde that all share many similarities. They all are groups of tribal warriors with cultures focused around honor and shamanism, trying to thrive in a world that threatens their existence. But it wouldn't be till World of Warcraft that a new race would alter the dynamic of the Horde. And this is one of my favorite instances of world building in the Warcraft universe. The Forsaken were formerly the citizens of Lordaeron, who were enslaved and undeath by the Lich King, then later broken from the shackles of his domination magic. But one must ask if their free will is a blessing or a curse. Gone are the days of their lives when they were living, a distant memory as their kingdom crumbles around them and their shambling bodies decay. They are a people cursed to live in the light-forsaken echo of their past, and yet it is the only place they can call home, as the outside world shuns them as monsters, no different than the scourge which they had broken free from. The Forsaken's only hope for their continued perseverance is through their Banshee Queen, Sylvanas Windrunner, who promises to lead her cursed people to a better existence, no matter the cost. Forces like the Scarlet Crusade threaten the Forsaken's survival, and in order to ensure their safety, they must find new allies on Azeroth. At first, Sylvanas sent emissaries to the Horde and Alliance.
Victory for Sylvanas.
The Alliance emissary was never heard from again. But the Horde emissary, surprisingly, found allies from an unexpected source. They met with the Tare, specifically Hamel Rune Totem, who saw a chance at redemption for the Forsaken. I mean, if they didn't help them, who would? Surely it wouldn't be the Alliance.
Here I am on my Torn and
Ambassadors
Undead.
meet with the Horde leaders and explain that they're merely seeking a cure for their undead affliction. Just ignore that they're brewing a plague in their laboratories, feeding poison to living beings for fun, and have lobotomized slaves. That is just all about finding a cure, of course. Yeah, finding a cure. And perhaps the Horde and their shamanistic ways could be the breakthrough they need to find it. At first, the Horde leaders were unsure about this whole idea. During the Third War, they fought the Scourge. Were these Forsaken really that different? But on the other hand, they have a fortified city in the Eastern Kingdoms, a part of Azeroth with virtually no Horde presence, and it could be a crucial asset to the Horde. Upon further discussion, the shamans of the Earthen Ring suggested that it was the Horde's obligation. No, it was their duty to aid the Forsaken. The Orcs were also labeled as monsters after drinking the demon blood, and only just recently altered their course for redemption. Couldn't you say the Forsaken are trying to do the same? And so, the Forsaken were officially accepted into the Horde, although their partnership with the other Horde races was not as tight-knit. Regardless, the Forsaken were allowed to establish an embassy in Thunderbluff called the Pools of Vision. But the Forsaken would be critical in the recruitment for the next race to join the Horde. In the very north of the Eastern Kingdoms, the Kingdom of Quel'Thalas was reeling in pain after the Third War. The High Elves of Quel'Thalas took the full brunt of the Scourge. 90% of their population was slaughtered, and their font of power, the Sunwell, was corrupted, then destroyed. After this devastating defeat, the Blood Elves struggled to satiate their addiction to magic, and ripped the arcane from living things, and used fell magic to rebuild their kingdom, causing their eyes to turn green from its radiating influence. They renamed themselves to the Blood Elves, and their leader, Kael'thas Sunstrider, left to go to the world of Outland to find a solution to their magic addiction.
Aldir Shala.
But their battle against the Scourge was not over. In the corrupted Ghostlands, their necromantic influence still festered, and the Blood Elves had no allies to help them in their weakened state. You'd think the Alliance would help, but that's where you're wrong. In the previous Third War, the Blood Elves briefly allied with the Alliance soldiers, who were incredibly unreliable and kind of left them for dead. And more recently, the Night Elves joined the Alliance. The Night Elves being one of the longest running enemies for the Blood Elves. So instead of helping, the Alliance kind of just spied on them to make sure they weren't doing anything nefarious. But what the Blood Elves did find was help from an unexpected ally.
Hello?
The Forsaken came to the Blood Elves' aid and developed a unique partnership. First and most importantly, they both hated the Scourge, as the Scourge had destroyed both of their homes and their lives. Second, Sylvanas the Banshee Queen was formerly the Ranger General of Quel'Thalas, and was killed by the Scourge, so they have a special connection to the land and an incentive to reclaim it. It was through this unique partnership that the Blood Elves would eventually join the Horde.
For the Horde.
The reasons for the Forsaken and the Blood Elves joining the Horde are some of my favorite lore tidbits in the Warcraft universe, and a great continuation of the lore from Warcraft 3. But you'll notice for future races that join the Horde, the explanation for them joining is far less nuanced, and mainly told through linear quest lines or, well, just barely at all, really. During the Cataclysm, the Bilgewater Cartel goblins were met with disaster as Mount Kajaro erupted, and the goblin city of Kazan was about to be destroyed, so they had to flee the island. Which is odd. If I had a copper for every time a volcano was involved in a race joining the Horde, I'd have 2 copper, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Anyways, the goblins flee the island on Trade Prince Galliwix's boat, and the price for their escape is that they're all now his slaves. The boat gets attacked by Alliance, and they wash up on the Lost Isles. On the Lost Isles, they meet with Horde soldiers who are also on the island. They work together, kill Alliance, rescue Thrall, and then Thrall beats up Galliwix. Thrall gives Galliwix the ultimatum that he will spare his life, but the Bilgewater goblins have to join the Horde, which Galliwix accepts, and he just gets to continue to be the leader of the cartel despite his total disregard for goblin life, which seems like an awful solution for a clearly evil individual. But then again, Thrall really never had a good track record when electing new leaders, as you'll see with the next race that joins the Horde. All playable Pandaren are from the Wandering Isle, a giant turtle with an entire zone on the back of it. During the intro questline, the Wandering Isle Pandaren are introduced to the Horde and the Alliance, and have to pick which faction to join. The Pandaren that join the Horde subscribe to the Hojin philosophy. This is a philosophy that inaction is the greatest injustice, and it's better to work fast than not at all. And the leader of this school of thought is a Pandaren named G. Firepaw. But the Horde aligning Pandaren joined the Horde at possibly the worst time in all of history, because Garrosh Hellscream, the warmongering war chief, is fully immersed in his bloodlust.
Let's find out what this war chief of theirs is made of. Emperor Hellscream, I am G. Fire.
You've made a wise decision to join my horde. There are some that would call us barbarians, the mongrel races of Azeroth. They are ignorant and blind to reality. Look around you, Pandaren. You will find no better partner in battle than an orc. The Tauren have made themselves useful. Look, this one is a shaman. Even a blood elf can hold a sword. Do you see it? Everyone in my horde earns their keep. You and your friends will be no exception. Do you understand this, Pandaren?
Yes, war chief.
Good. Moving on. I know that you are not the only Pandaren to escape from that island. Some of your
Well, my guild wants, they actually asked me to join, so I guess I'll do a ZG here.
You may have had friends.
I kind of just wanted to level up my weapons, but whatever.
With the enemies of the Horde. They are no longer your friends.
Well, actually, no. We can test out the weapons now.
The
Yeah.
minute they put on that alliance
The
tabard,
High Warlord
they
like
die.
axes.
I will not tolerate any lingering ties across enemy lines. Traitors to the Horde will die a traitor's death. Do I make myself clear?
I believe so.
Good. Meet me in the Valley of Honor. I have a gift for you.
And then Garrosh sends them to an arena, and it makes them fight 3 giant monsters. So realistically, I think the Pandaren that joined the Horde would swiftly turn around and leave if their leader told them that they need to kill their grandmother just because she's wearing a blue tabard. But the Pandarens stay, and there really is no lore about Horde Pandarens after this, other than G Firepaw being set up for execution during the Siege of Orgrimmar raid, and if the players are too slow, he just straight up gets murdered.
No!
The de facto Horde Pandaren leader then just sits around for the next 13 years. He's got a very minor role in a book, and is a part of the Horde Council. But, yeah, that's kind of it. Okay, so the next races that join the Horde are allied races, introduced at the start of Legion and the Battle for Azeroth. Since this video is about why they joined the Horde and not the race's lore as a whole, I'll be going through these pretty quick. So the Horde and the Alliance and Legion both helped the High Mountain Tauren and the Nightborn, but both of these races ended up joining the Horde. For the High Mountain Tauren, it's because of their cultural ties with the Tauren. And throughout the expansion, we help liberate the city of Suramar from the control of the Legion, and find a solution to the Nightborn's arcane addiction, and First Arcanist Thalyssra becomes the new leader of the faction. But Tyrande, leader of the Night Elves, was hesitant to accept them into the Alliance. Tyrande was there in the early history of elves on Azeroth thousands of years ago. She saw the cultural separation between the low-born and high-born elves, the betrayal of Queen Majora, later the demonic corruption of Prince Kael'thas, and the deceit of Elisande. Now you tell me, would Thalyssra really be any different from the arcane-wielding elvish leaders before her? Tyrande had her doubts. So the Nightborn joined the Horde instead and got along well with the Blood Elves, because a lot of the aspects of Nightborn culture is just Blood Elf culture, except it's purple.
What if it was purple?
During the Battle for Azeroth expansion, the Horde meet up and ally with the Zandalari Trolls. During the main questline, we help save Princess Talanji's life, earn their trust, and fight alongside them when the Alliance starts pushing into their lands. So by the end of the expansion, they join the Horde.
For the Horde!
Also in Battle for Azeroth, the Volpera join the Horde, because they've been living in a desert and they want to adventure. That is the whole reason. Yeah, the Volpera are kind of like, I'm gonna be honest, the industry plant race of the Horde, okay? And finally, Mag'har orcs join the Horde in the most ridiculous way possible that is so outrageous and over the top that it's so bad it becomes good again, and I kind of love it. Okay, so in the Warlords of Draenor expansion, we travel to the alternate reality version of Draenor before the orcs drank the demon blood, which is why they're called Mag'har orcs. Mag'har meaning uncorrupted in Orcish. We fight them during the expansion, then kill all the demons on the planet, and then suddenly they become our friends at the very end, and then we leave alternate Draenor. 2 expansions later, the Horde need more allies for the current faction war, and open up a portal to go back to alternate Draenor. Back on alternate Draenor, the Draenei we fought alongside with have gone crazy and have turned into these fanatical light-worshipping zealots. And it's only a matter of time before they kill all of the Mag'har orcs. So we help the orcs, take them back to our timeline, and they join the Horde. Which is, wow, just the most convoluted way to have a character customization option to make green orcs brown. And finally, in Dragonflight, the Drakthir wake up from their stasis in the Forbidden Reach and don't really join the Alliance or Horde. They just join the factions as diplomats of a sort. And it's the same for the next race, the Earthen. They're just diplomats and not necessarily Horde members. I really do wish I could give you more context for both of these races joining the Horde, but there really isn't anything of substantial value to talk about. Like, at all. So you've probably noticed that the actual lore explanation for each new race joining the Horde has been going down over the years. There are a couple explanations for this. One is that storytelling was a huge part of Warcraft 3, which allowed Blizzard to sow the narrative seeds for the lore to come in World of Warcraft and enrich it to its fullest extent. Then, in World of Warcraft, the finite amount of narrative resources Blizzard has is used for gameplay that more players will interact with, like telling the story of a raid, a zone, or a very important lore character. Yeah, you know, they could do a whole complex storyline filled with voice acting, explaining the reasoning for the Pandaren staying in the Horde, but it's not like many players would actually interact with this content, and they would rather want lore for the flashy new showcase raid that is far more interesting to the wider player base. And that is why I love it when Blizzard releases short stories that allow us to dive deep into these topics for nerds like me. And there's an important part of Warcraft lore that I think a lot of people forget about, and it's that this game's lore is not the top priority for Blizzard. World of Warcraft's lore is used to help explain in-game content features first and foremost, and a majority of players do not care that deeply about the game's lore. At the end of the day, the average player just wants to play as a cute fox person, and they could care less about the in-depth lore justification for them to just play a freaking cute fox person. And lastly, since Dragonflight, Blizzard has pretty much abolished any faction tension or nuance between the Horde and the Alliance. So new playable races really have no incentive to join one or the other. They pretty much pick their favorite color and which capital city looks prettiest. So despite World of Warcraft's framework being built around this Horde versus Alliance conflict and players having to make the decision between the Alliance or Horde, it's an extremely inconsequential part of the main story's lore. It's now this awkward disconnect that Blizzard is going to have to confront with each new race that gets added to the game, and I hope their solution isn't just making every new race neutral, because that's really boring. So in summary, what unifies the Horde is that they are the remnants of a war-tarnished world. The outcast races, desperate to carve out a place of belonging despite their troubled past. The Orcs fostered a new era after their defeat in the Second War. The Darkspear Trolls fight to find prosperity in the echo of their ancient troll empire, while the Tauren strive to preserve their nomadic, spiritual way of life in the face of encroaching threats. The Forsaken attempt to separate themselves from their Scourge origins. The Blood Elves seek redemption and stability after their kingdom's destruction and their addiction to magic. Each race within the Horde has its own unique struggles and desires, but they are bound by the harsh realities of a world shaped by war, loss, and survival. They are united by necessity of standing together against both internal strife and external dangers, even if their individual goals may sometimes differ. The Horde represents resilience, the persistence to rebuild from devastation, and the will to survive despite the overwhelming odds they face. Each race of the Horde shares the legacy of war, but together they work for a future of hope. And I think that's some badass lore. Thanks for watching. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go zug it out with my boys.
Zug zug.
Hey, PK Don. Oh damn, that's like a half an hour ago. I don't really read.
The Alliance in World of Warcraft have always just been labeled as the good guys, but there's a lot more depth to them than that. From the various unique human kingdoms, ancient civilizations, and space-traveling alien goat people, rich lore is everywhere, and some of that lore might make you reconsider their good guy stereotype. But in order to understand how each race joined the Alliance, we need to understand how the Alliance, as we know it today, was even formed in the first place. Okay, well, let's start at the end of the First War. The orcs just rampaged out of the Dark Portal and destroyed the city of Stormwind. Regent Lord Anduin Lothar and the kingdom's refugees flee northward through the eastern kingdoms to Lordaeron until King Tyrannus Menethil II of the Orcish invasion. Keep in mind that orcs are aliens to Azeroth, from a totally different planet. Humans have never encountered them before. All of a sudden, there's these creatures that are 7 foot tall, several times stronger than humans, and have an endless bloodlust, and there's hundreds of them, and they're not gonna stop until everything is dead in their wake. So this is kind of a big problem, and King Tyrannus Menethil summons all 7 human kingdoms to discuss what to do next. These kingdoms include Lordaeron, who have the largest army of the kingdoms, Stromgarde, the oldest human kingdom, the Admiralty of Kul Tiras, known for their naval and merchant prowess, Gilneas, who are British, independent, and kind of dicks. More on that later. The Majocracy of Dalaran, known for their magical expertise, Alterac, who are, I don't know, they're kind of just there. And then there's the Kingdom of Stormwind, at least what's left of it.
Help me! Could you help, please?
Dwarf and gnome refugees arrive at Lordaeron and tell the humans that the orcs have already conquered Casmodan. So clearly the orcs are moving fast, and we need to figure out this whole alliance thing. I mean, like, who's even gonna be the leader, huh?
Hey, I don't think so.
At this time, the priest, Turallion, tells the kingdoms that they need to get their act together. I mean, look at this child. This is King Varian Rin of Stormwind. His future is ruined, his kingdom is destroyed, and his parents are dead! All of your babies will be orphans if we do not put aside our differences and kill these orcs!
Sounds fine.
Okay, maybe Turallion is kind of right here. Let's just bite our tongues and work together. King Tyrannus Menethil suggests that Anduin Lothar should be the leader of this alliance of Lordaeron. You see, thousands of years ago, Lothar's ancestor, Thoradin, leader of the great nation of Erethdor, worked with the High Elves to defeat the Trolls in a previous war. In turn, the High Elves were in debt to the Arathi bloodline, meaning that they would have an ally with this new war against the orcs. Like I said earlier, the Horde marched northward through the continent and took over the Dwarven and Gnome region of Casmodan. But both races fell back to their fortified cities, and when the Horde tried to assault Ironforge, they suffered heavy losses, as practically all of the Dwarven population took arms to repel the assault, and 10 Orcish invaders were slain for every one dwarf. Gnomergon was a similar story, because no matter how big an orc is, they can't beat a Gatling gun firing 4,000 rounds per minute directly into their center mass.
Activate weapons!
The body count was just far too high to justify the continued assault of the capital cities, and the orcs moved upward and were successful in taking the dwarven settlements in the wetlands region. But the hinterlands was a different story, and the Wildhammer dwarves, a clan of griffin-riding isolationists wielding mystical stormhammers, laid the smackdown on the orcs and were later supported by the Alliance of Lordaeron, and in the end, the once insular, savage dwarven clan joined the Alliance.
Wildhammer! Oh, and for the Alliance!
And to make a long story short, the Alliance won the Second War after years of bloody conflict. But it wasn't without its casualties. Numerous towns and cities were destroyed, thousands were slain, and Anduin Lothar died in the final battle at the Blackrock Mountain. In his memory, a statue was erected in the burning steppes, pointing his sword valiantly at the mountain. And according to the Tides of Darkness book, it was Orcish prisoners who hauled all of the stone to construct the statue for the Alliance's victory and the monument for the Horde's defeat. But maybe, just maybe, The real victory was all the friends we made along the way in the formation of the Alliance. But this peace between the kingdoms would not last forever. First was the High Elves of Quel'Thalas, drawing back their participation in the Alliance entirely, citing the humans' poor response when Quel'Thalas was attacked by the orcs and trolls, and also their ancient debt was paid, so goodbye. Now, there are a few High Elves that remained in the Alliance, like those who were loyal to the Kirintor Mages of Dalaran, or the Farstriders like Illyria Windrunner. But Quel'Thalas as a nation wasn't particularly interested in being all buddy-buddy with the rest of the Alliance races. Meanwhile, the human kingdoms pulled their resources together to rebuild Stormwind and the other locations destroyed during the war, and Netherguard Keep, to guard the Dark Portal. But more importantly, they needed to figure out what to do with all these orcs they had just imprisoned. Their solution was to construct internment camps to house them, which was a rather expensive idea. An idea that Gen Greymane, king of Gilneas, refused to play a part in because all of this stuff was just too damn expensive, and the kingdom of Gilneas didn't benefit from any of it, and he'd ultimately leave the Alliance to go do his own thing and built the Greymane Wall to isolate his kingdom from the outside world. Okay, so now the Third War happens, so Warcraft 3. Lordaeron is destroyed by the Scourge, and the orcs escape their imprisonment and go to Kalimdor to start a new version of the Horde. And by classic World of Warcraft, they are pushing in the hostile lands. In classic WoW, the Horde is invading Ashenvale to harvest the resources of the Kaldorei lands. Now, typically, Night Elves are quite prideful and are hesitant of ever working with outsiders, but the Elven race suffered heavy casualties during the Third War and lost their immortality. So they joined the Alliance in case the Horde expansion into their forests ever became unmanageable. And that's the lore reason for them joining the Alliance. But the gameplay reason, so the real reason why they joined the Alliance, is because the faction needed a capital city in Kalimdor, and they also needed a race that could be druids. And you know what? It would be awesome if the Alliance had a playable race that could also be, a shaman. That would be just wonderful. The spaceship fortress called the Exodar crash lands into the Azure Mist Isles, and the Draenei comes stumbling out of the ship's wreckage.
How exactly do you crash into a planet? That's what I want to know.
The Exodar was originally a part of a space fortress called Tempest Keep, an interdimensional traveling fortification given to the Draenei by the godlike manifestations of light called the Naru. So way back in time, the Draenei that we know today were originally called the Eridar, but 2/3 of them were corrupted by the Burning Legion. Yeah! Prophet Velen fled and flew away with the rest of the uncorrupted Eridar, and then they were renamed to the Draenei, meaning exiled ones in their language. So the Draenei took a spaceship, crashed it into a new world called Draenor, got slaughtered by the orcs who killed them in the thousands, and then the orcs blew up the world with magical energy. And
yeah, I'm trying to get those pants off friggin' Hakar, man.
The blood, what is it, blood soaked?
The ones with all the strength on them?
Yeah, that shit's huge.
Little parse pants.
Good luck, hope it drops.
Yeah, right?
Let's see how many SRs. Am I doing loot?
Real quick.
Anybody want to do loot?
Ah, crap. I can do it.
Yeah, you sure?
I mean, I didn't get invited, so, it is what it is.
I thought you said you were doing MC or something.
I said I could join, I just need to kill Ragnaros first. But it's whatever.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Moldy, you don't have to, but if you can, that'd be dope.
Yeah, no, I can.
Thank you, bro.
I'm in my inventory right now.
You got Gargle Moldy?
Yeah.
Sweet.
You want us to hit pass on all or just leave it?
Did everyone do their soft reserves?
I just dropped mine in right now. It's on.
17.
Wait, give me 1 second. I can do mine.
Zevin last pick, it shows that they haven't reserved anything.
Yeah, the only thing I need is the epic next, but I'm gonna wait until the warriors have their DPS ones and the healers have their healing one.
So you're not gonna reserve anything? Like you don't need idols or the backpack or the panther set?
Well, I have the backpack already, and then the idols, it's just spell power and intellect. So I like the haste or the strength on there instead. But it would be good for off spec.
Alright. We just need 2 more people. Who are the people that...
Oh, shit.
Is it in G or?
I don't want to hit soft reserve until it shows 20 people.
I'm putting mine in right now. Give me 1 sec.
Okay, cool. You'll be the 20th.
I'm putting in one right now. Hold on.
Alright, mine are in.
Hold on. I'm putting mine in. Don't lock it yet.
I'm waiting.
The only
Trying to find it's in raid chat, or where is it? Where can I find the list?
What list?
It's in
Never mind, I found it. I found it.
There's the water.
Someone said they need water?
No, it's,
Yeah,
it's in the water.
Oh.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Wanna help me out?
I need some water. That's food.
Just open trade.
Oh my god. I can't believe I just did that.
What'd you do?
I accidentally X'd out the whole fucking window for Ninja, but I'm coming back.
I thought the Mage Ninja was also the same.
You know,
ninja.
a lot of people have said that, but we're different ninjas. I'm not that good at dual boxing.
Wait, what the heck is that?
I mean, all playing, you know, mage, but you know, who's counting?
What'd you just do, Animal?
Yeah, for sure.
I
So can you do
DM'd
that?
you what my SRs were to make sure you did it right.
Oh,
I made
you can do that?
I have a second account. I just haven't leveled up the mage on it yet to start like helping my low levels.
Hey, roll on it.
Congrats,
Penny.
dude.
What is it?
Oh, it took forever to drop
Bed of
combat.
Curia?
No, you got the Night Slayer shoulders.
What's the trash loot situation?
I'm back. I need buffs.
Bijous are RR.
Yeah.
If Moldy has the add-on to do it.
I do.
He does. He's done it before.
Yeah, I've done it before.
Can you raid assign the tanks, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh, it's automatically done by the master loot? That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Pretty cool.
There's a.
It does it perfectly round robin.
That's awesome.
Well, it's not
the
perfect.
coins are on a different RR than the Bijous.
You just have to make sure that you have your inventory isn't full.
Right.
Make sure your inventory isn't full. If we get enough for everybody, you'll get. I'm making room in my inventory right now to make up for some stuff. Having to delete like freaking 400 waters.
Are we doing madness then?
Yep.
Oh, I'm stunned. Oh, I got that freaking. I got that lip off just in time. I'll let you know what my HP was, but damn, that was low.
1%.
No, not 1%. It was really low though.
It was definitely 1%.
Nah.
I couldn't even see a bar like at all.
Wait. God damn it. I know how you feel now, Ash. Chill.
Do you whirlwind like and then swap stances and shit? Fury Prot, or do you just stay in defensive usually?
I usually just stay in defensive if I have rage. If I don't have rage, yeah, I do what you just said. On these like big packs.
You got gear swaps like just to do specific like skills or?
Is there
just...
still
Yeah, like battle shout.
Throw
Yeah.
on
Yo,
a
this
fucking
guy put
hander.
the BRE out?
What?
Huh?
I see you with the BRE out.
You know it.
You got one hit though with that shit?
When did you get that?
You have the BRE Ash?
I got that when our raid was SR
I'm coming.
months ago.
I got one of those. Let's do it.
Ready?
Oh, wait, but Skizzers is on his way.
Skizzers, yeah.
All right, let's go get rage.
I'm coming.
Get you holding us up, Skizzers. The heck?
Sorry.
Whoa, Hark. Hark pulled it back.
I'm tanking.
Whoa. He wanted better rage mobs.
Oh,
this is prime rage mobs.
Hold on, pause, everybody. Wait for me.
Oh, I gotta fix that.
The fucking herd.
Give me 1 second. Let me.
I have a macro that fucking
up to no good.
fucked me right there.
We're so up.
Do a countdown.
Before you start, let me lock the SR.
I already locked it.
He did.
Wait, hold it. Am I SR'd?
You did?
Main tank's
You're gonna have
not
I don't think I think he imported it into Gargle. He didn't lock it.
Oh,
I
I
was the
imported it.
first
How do you
one.
lock it?
Never mind.
I lost it.
Once you import it, it doesn't matter.
It's just one SR?
Two.
Oh, well, I put the necklace one time, but it counts as two.
You guys saving wreck for Panther or what? What are we doing?
Yeah. Save it for Panther. Whoa, Skellies.
Someone pulled Skelly. What you want to do? Like shadow or elements? Yeah, I got you. Probably elements.
No, don't cleave.
Oh, can we go whirlwind in group 3?
Wind Fury, you mean?
Red.
Oh, yeah, Wind Fury. yeah, that one.
Don't kill
Maybe
your
next
tank.
time we'll get it.
Help if I use
Damn.
my trinket.
Oh, we got Jindos? Yeah.
That's huge.
Nice chat.
That is huge.
Did we get Jindos?
Wait,
I
what?
just saw some pop up, bunch of people. It
No, it was an idol.
Reserve, Ernie, Ashwakanda, Tilt Heel, Multiposit. Oh.
It's just an idol.
Skizz, are you tweaking?
I want that freaking neck.
Got to protect the neck.
Watch everybody on the
Berserker's coming.
Grab him.
Watch out for ghosts.
Grab him.
Damn, something deleted him. You don't need a calculus teacher? What?
He's spitting bars.
We got Panthers coming up behind us, just FYI.
No, we don't.
Wait, did they turn around?
They're not
We do.
Okay, now we do.
Ninja, where
Nice,
were you
Ninja.
going?
I was trying to come here and my Kodo took a wide turn.
What?
Now we got rage mobs. I apologize.
Odo took a wide turn.
What does that
Anything
even
Anything
mean?
to do with the one controlling me.
Listen, that's why it's meant for Torrens.
Hold off a sec. Wait for mana. This is our rage pack. Put on your diamond flask. Drink, drink.
Just water? Oh shit! I deleted all my water.
Skiz, you need water or something?
Yeah, I was grabbing water.
Bro, were you AFK for that long?
No, I never grabbed any. I didn't want to, just in case I did.
Did you
Wanna
get some
waste
from
it.
Ninja? Maybe he has some.
Oh, we're good.
Alright, you're good, Heart.
I'm still gonna trade.
I need to get close.
I can't believe you have voice dialogue on. Or not dialogue, but air speech. That shit gets so
Like
annoying.
how he says they're rage mobs, and Moldy's like, "Fuck you, AOE!"
Oh,
Yep.
the rage ones? My bad.
I also was absolutely pumping these fucking guys. I'm not gonna lie, I always forget.
I mean, it's not like only warriors can attack that pack. We get rage regardless.
It's a pretty big pack, right?
Yeah, it takes a while.
All right, I'm gonna just run in and hit the gong. What do we think?
Good.
Let me
No, wait for
let me get
everyone
in
to
front of the
get
door
in because
first.
they can.
Yeah, everybody has to get in.
All
Which
right,
way you taking
Harkonnen.
him?
And he was ready.
All right.
Hark,
Harkonnen,
come
give
stand
me the
over
go
here.
ahead.
You can bang it.
I'm banging it.
Bang, gone.
Oh, what? Fucking, I was not ready for that. Okay.
Whatever.
Nah, he gouged me.
Took so long.
Oh my goodness, a will of Arlock. No way.
What?
Oh, that's actually kind of
Huge. Oh, that's sick.
But were we supposed to wreck on that? I think these guys wrecked or something.
Cloak
was,
check.
Was that the Panther boss?
Someone has their own cloak on. I'm not gonna say any name.
Does someone actually have their own
No
cloak on?
way.
Oh, no way. I see him too.
I do
see
too.
him. I know.
Who
I know
is
who
it?
it is.
It's
Moldy.
massive.
Rhymes
He's a
with
big,
shit
massive dude. Yeah.
Wait, that might not be Ani scale. That might be cloak.
Really?
Looks pretty Anixia, Kaylee.
Wait, who?
I don't know. I mean, it's spelled Anixia.
If you pull those Panthers, you have death by firing squad.
No, it's the other one. The other.
Oh, somebody did.
Oh my fucking
Oh,
god.
but I did it on purpose.
Fucking shit.
It's the Oni cloak.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I'll show you my Oni cloak. It says.
Oh yeah, he is actually wearing an Oni cloak. Jesus.
Fist till neck.
Is
He
he
seen
even in
voice
this?
chat?
He's
Yeah, I
not
don't think
in
he is.
Discord.
I was just gonna say we're talking shit about him. He's not even here.
Wait, someone now someone pulled the snake.
Can't even defend himself.
These snakes were in a spot. I don't think they were like. I feel like we're pulling these snakes. no
Zero.
matter what.
Those ones are
Yeah,
the
they
ones
walked
on
on the
left.
path.
Mhm.
You're good.
Now these guys, Ninja pulls these guys every week. Will he do it
No,
again?
no, that is not true. Let's calm it down.
Ninja, the last 3 weeks you pulled those.
I need evidence.
First GCD Sunder.
Ninja, you're right. I shouldn't speak without evidence. My bad.
Come with the receipts.
Next time.
There won't be a next one.
You're never gonna pull those? Say on God right now.
On God, no
On
cap.
God. I'm
Now
phone
I'm gonna
now.
watch my ass, or I'm gonna hear it fucking the whole raid.
No No,
Follow
Brawlhalla,
me.
no!
Ooh, 3, let's go.
Oh yeah.
You get
Water.
assist.
Try and get some of that water stuff. I like.
You got it now.
Hey, Mamato, if I want to parse, do I come up there with you?
Yeah,
No.
that was all the water I had.
Oh, man.
I
No, I
deleted
just shoot and
400
run.
water because while you were AFK, I had to
You guys
make
ready?
room for mess with her.
My fault.
Yeah, we're ready.
Make sure these bosses are all on top of each other.
Ninja, get the second one. Kane, get the third one, please.
Yeah.
I'm on. Looks like X.
Fucking parry more, bro.
That was fun.
Let's sunder them all.
Oh, the fucking disarm.
Wait, is Mamato actually good?
Yeah.
Parry.
Two X. No.
This is gonna be sketchy.
Get them all.
I like sketchy.
Just pile into it.
Yeah, just grab them all, man.
Watch where you get knocked back at.
Look
There
at
we
that.
go. We got it.
That doing
Somebody's pet just pulled.
There's a pet over there.
I didn't think it was fair that I died and my pet didn't.
Smoke that peat, bloom, and alcohol.
Oh, that's
You want to do madness now? Yerp.
We subjugate one.
Brawlhalla, don't look at me.
Yeah.
Running off to go yoink another herb?
No.
watch out behind you, animal.
Alright, bet.
You guys are battle shouting. Oh, whoa, no, it's Ash. Ash is not battle shouting. Let's do it.
One pulled the
Uh-oh.
berserker.
We also pulled the next pack of imps.
Motto's in there fucking tiger form.
Motto's going crazy.
Oh, whoa, don't go, don't go.
What's the proc chance on those, Mamato? Is it pretty good?
It's pretty good.
He's enjoying it, that's for sure.
I can't tell if because like I can sit there and like spam click even after I turn off auto on the imp spells, and like I have to like sit there and almost like click it a bunch of times for it to actually go off.
Yeah, it seems like there's a built-in cooldown.
It like doesn't show on the bar.
Yeah,
Are we
like
not gonna-
there's a cooldown when they fire it, but there's also like a built-in cooldown that they can't. Like I don't know, it's weird.
Are we not gonna pull the whole room like we've done like for like the last 2 or 3 ZGs?
Have mercy.
Lord mercy.
think they have like a swing timer, and they can only fire the ability, like you queue up the ability for their next swing. You know what I mean?
Oh. Oh no, I died.
I doubled you there too. Still fucking killed you.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Me solve it.
I did put a dummy down. I guess it didn't do enough.
It's kind of busted, Fury Prod, the threat. But it's easier to fucking tank as just regular Fury. At least for like this fast-moving, fast-paced shit. Like, tactical mastery is just above and beyond such a strong ability.
Oh, who's going? Who's this demon rune going to?
Let you
Maybe
be able to use all
Valhalla?
your tools that you have.
There's Bloodband.
Didn't reset yet, did it?
Healer's roll for the demonic rune.
Yeah,
This is not a new boss yet, is it?
Nope.
I'll fucking tell him to do it. He's not in voice. He shouldn't get it.
It's true.
And he's wearing an Oni clothes. And he's half-ass in heels. Oh, sorry, I'm bitching about him right now because he's not healing very well.
V's got some shit going on.
What is these fucking gouges, bro?
Get him.
I think Rennie died.
Sorry, this boss is gouging me. It resisted my taunt. Wow. Okay.
I think he died on purpose.
Damn, these people fucking crank. God damn, I'm not even like showing up on the fucking board. I'm there at number 12.
I
want to roll for it.
We found out that we can. I can loot it and then give it to someone later. We'll just do that. Sure.
They're unique though, right? So if like multiple drop them, in that case you'd have to throw it out.
I'm scared to put it in my pocket. I'm kind of scared to put it in my bag, to be honest.
Roll it out.
Yeah, man.
Roll it out. You won't.
Ah.
Do it. You won't.
I tried to
do it.
Yeah, I tried to do it in a raid warning, but
don't do it. Do it.
Oh yeah, baby. Let's go.
Wait, Fenty, do you need this?
No, he doesn't fucking need it.
Oh, you needed one more.
Berserker right here?
Berserker.
Is this the one Fenty needs?
No, Fenny's got his thing, man.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He already made it.
I think Ninja's like trolling, right?
Yeah.
Is he? What about Kane? Is Kane trolling?
I don't know if Kane is trolling.
I don't really need it now. I just roll for the fuck of it.
I need it so bad. But
Yeah,
Brawlhalla
you
beats
take
me
it.
anyways.
Brawlhalla, do you need it?
No.
Would y'all stop?
God damn it.
Animal.
Trolling me.
I just wanted to outroll Animal.
I rolled a 15. It's not that hard.
So mad.
I'm fucking losing it.
At that point, Moldy, you just give it to whoever wins and be like, there you go, you griefed.
Right? It's definitely what I should have done.
It's a good idea.
Move it, Diamond. Dismiss your pet.
Oh, I have to resummon anyway since I died.
That means Youthwex. Oh fuck.
No,
he's got a name.
gotta serve it. We gotta
Berserker pulls during the boss anyway, right? He comes to the boss.
Yeah.
Might as well get him out.
If I dismiss the servant, we gotta do it right here, right now.
You should.
See that clean ass body pull, man.
So clean, he was using Axe body wash just for the body pool.
Fresh and so clean.
But my parses.
Hold
Oh,
up,
yeah, portal.
Thingy's coming. Void Walker's on the raid.
Owie, they hurt.
If they live too long, they do like an insane AoE too.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't
We
think
don't
wait, what's
know
the
that.
bet
Oh
now?
no,
What's
the
bet now?
pet!
That's the second time.
Your
Watch
pet
out for the
is
right.
tired.
Watch out for the right.
Got him on aggro or something?
No, the group died right as I was targeting.
I think a skull. There we go.
I hate when that happens.
Can we make us go?
Say Marco fucking skull, yeah.
Yeah, they died. That pet is naughty, dude.
Naughty.
We could have just gone left.
I still think
How
even
much-
with all
how
this
much we're
is
pulling?
faster.
Usually when we do this, it is not like this.
Pull it through the doors.
We only have to do that if the pats are alive, so we killed both of the pats.
Well, I just got knocked back. If I didn't blink right there, I was pulling that pack back there.
Where's our raid leader?
DPSing.
He's DPSing, so he's not using comms.
He's in the shit.
He's
right
raiding with
now.
fire tonight.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Oh, my bad.
Ash.
Habit, my bad.
I'm waiting for fucking mana.
Yeah, you gotta yell.
I'm trying to be you.
Stack that diamond! Stack a diamond now!
Secret Service.
That was your opportunity, Heart.
You know what?
Slipping.
Let the tank pull.
When given a chance to walk in another man's shoes, I wore his shoes but chose a new path.
Aw, don't get all biblical on me.
Biblical as fuck. You want to tank both of them?
Yeah, I can tank both.
Remember to stop cleave when he gets low on the raptor.
Ready? Alright, pulling.
Tremor totems.
Oh my god.
Heals on Blazing.
Kane.
Kane. Heals on Kane. Stop cleave. Stop cleave.
Do I take the spirit?
Yeah, take it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Single target.
It's on or
I'm gonna taunt it. I'm taunt it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I can't have any more. I can't hold this. I need.
Go ahead.
on that.
Put it in my bag.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Zanzel seal?
Ooh, boy. Zanzel's seal.
You can throw it in my bags to DE, by the way.
Oh, somebody pulled the Raptors.
I can.
Bro.
Oh, nice.
You can if it's unique and you
Wait,
can't
what?
hold it.
Somebody
Well, we're not gonna.
Rennie
that's not
ran
gonna
through
get
the
DE,
pack and then
most likely.
vanished. He's good.
It's not gonna get DE'd. No one reserved it. No one's rolling.
We already
Maybe
have.
we can roll on it right now.
We're gonna roll it
I'll roll.
at the end.
Okay.
That's why
We'll
I
just do it at the end.
Oh, okay.
The Skizzers, you get to hold that 37 though.
Ah.
I could always just D the one I have on me, and then put that one on.
Yeah, but then you still would have to roll that item when you de-eat an item out of your inventory.
No, I'm saying
just gonna
if
roll
it
and
needs
win.
to be de-eat. I think we have multiple people that need that ring. Probably not in this group. Animal, do you need that ring still?
I have the seal. I need the band. And also, I'm not on my lock.
Right.
Bro, how do you hold AoE threat on these things, dude?
A lot of tab targeting, dense dynamites.
Oil immolations.
Yeah, cleave.
I have to find my own.
And then
way to
you kind of
tank.
just taunt on like cooldown. As soon as you see one get off of you, you taunt. And then as soon as it comes back up, taunt another one. Like you're doing a lot of chasing, a lot of tab targeting.
I got the fucking disease.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. This is
Alright,
gonna be
Mike,
bad.
For this boss, give us a pull timer so that we can precast on the speaker. What the fuck?
2-minute break.
They have the debuff that makes them drop their
1
weapon.
minute.
You have to wait.
1 minute.
Perfect.
Unless I think Ashes. No, Ashes are pretty almost done.
Yeah, 50 seconds. How do I cancel that break?
I think slash break timer is 0.
Nice.
Hark, I thought you were about to pull that pack. I'm like, what are you doing? You're just trying to keep your rage at the.
Trying to fucking threat, doing whatever I can.
Oh,
Wait. I'm fucking pulling this.
Make sure the boss comes back to us. Let's not accidentally
Go
pull
with the
triangle.
pull timer.
Yeah, we go with the pull timer so we precast.
All right, cast a prior now.
5, 4,
Doing it.
3, 2, 1.
And my pyro didn't even finish the cast.
Fucking parry on the first bullshit. This my threat was good on the boss.
I don't know. I kind of wish I didn't swap to sweeping strikes build.
What are you right now?
The 2-hander sweeping strikes build.
Sweeping
I just wanted to
Deathwish?
try it. Yeah, it's horrible for single
it's,
target.
it's horrible. Yeah, no, you're literally better off as pure arms, actually.
You have rage pots?
Believe it or not.
Just do Fury 2-hand, man.
I was
Yeah, I
repping
should've.
sweeping Deathwish
Like,
so
waiting
hard
for
for so
Cleave and
long,
shit?
but
Yeah, I should have. I did that last time, and I was tanking Fury 2-hand, and it was fun as fuck. I had threat on everything. It was amazing. I mean, for bosses, I put on axes.
You're right. That's an easy swap for that build.
Yeah, that's the benefit. I just wanted to try. I wanted to try sweeping strikes. I haven't done it in so long. I want to do some PvP tonight.
Ooh, shit.
the one thing about that build, the sweeping strikes, Deathwish build, is that like you take that in the PvP, you get crit within rage when you got Deathwish going and you sweeping, you can kill like 5 people at the same time.
And then sword specialization with it, with the Bree. Then if you have a Wind Fury with
a different
you,
way about it, but yeah.
And then if you have a Hodge, I don't know. I just thought it would be funny. Let's hold off on this pack. Mana. This is our rage pack. And mana's pretty decent, but just drink up. Very good.
Let me fucking go. go.
I said you're good. I waited like 2 seconds after I said that. Rage.
Next time you tank Hark, you gotta ask for the diamond. It has a lot of power.
It
Give me
does
the
have
diamond.
a lot of power.
Give me the fucking diamond right now.
Give me the
Take that shit off. All right.
Holy shit,
Skizzers,
Hark
mana.
got the fucking diamond.
We're chilling, all right? I'm pulling the boss.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah,
else
you're
tank
good, you're good.
tanks. Go, go, go.
Good.
Skizzers, those totems were so scary.
They are.
As in, like, they're gonna kill the raid.
It'll be. Want him to go after. Bait. Bait.
I didn't mean to do that.
My Sunder's at.
Oh, he's calling you out. Them thunder.
Damn, like even with fucking Stone Shield Potion, they fucking crush you.
Oh, crushing
It is
blows is
brutal.
defensive, not armor.
Yeah, you need like
Well, I mean,
high enough
regardless,
defense.
you just take massive damage. Like the armor's supposed to lessen it.
There that goes.
There it is.
Huge distract. Who was that? Oh, our rogues are so fucking good. Pull those totems, Skizzers. Or Goat Heal, rather. Zeverix, also.
Go heal.
Goat Heal and
cleansing
Zeverix,
totem.
both are about to pull.
Fine, they still
Yeah,
have
we
a long
pulled.
ways to come.
Watch
No,
how you
they
get
just
knocked
pulled.
back.
You pulled some stuff back there?
Yeah, because the
Totems.
totems.
I was calling it, dude.
Yeah. There's a Pat that walks that bridge.
More rep.
One rep.
Ooh, that's a good call. Yeah. Just pull more.
Alright, everybody pull everything.
I'm about to be revered on my hunter. That's big.
Actually, I might get
Venti, change your monitor to your rogue. Your horde rogue.
The things you hear on raids, you know what I mean?
Like, hey, turn your monitor back on.
Well, he was running into a wall on auto run. Like he's
Why do I
like,
see
on the
Stormwind when
monitor.
we're all in ZG? Don't tell me what to do.
You're not my dad.
Is that a pack we do? Yep.
Pull him back, yeah.
Oh, we just pulled another pack?
Rep
Totem, maybe?
Maybe. Might have been mine.
Got one more rage pack. Where is it? Not
Yeah,
this.
we needed a double rage pack.
Can we get a hunter pull that back? They're not gonna come back with you. Oh, they're coming.
Power the diamond.
I thought they stand and throw spears.
If you stay
Pull that totem.
within like the Furday, is it the Furday?
It's an air totem.
Watch where it goes. Watch out for the ghosts.
It's your air totem.
Zevrix.
Oh, it's a traveler's backpack.
Does the air totem cause aggro?
It's our second bloodvine.
We ready?
Air totem's just chilling.
Alright, we're going.
Give it 15 seconds. Diamond flask, sorry.
Mine's going right now.
Alright, go, go, go. Pull it.
That totem still needs to be moved. That totem.
He's gonna twist. Zev totem. Got more brown hairs than Chewbacca.
Oh, the ring.
Huge.
The flask ring.
Just so you know, these wind serpents are gonna come.
Yeah, we're probably gonna pull them.
They are, yeah, they're gonna come for sure.
Want a piece?
Right. Oh shit, there's 2 packs here? Is that normal?
Yeah, this is actually really bad. Let's check out the left.
Yeah, let's go to the left side.
If it's
meeting
not better, then we can go back.
Oh, somebody pulled. Somebody.
This is actually better.
Yeah, pull it with us.
The other patrol just got to the other end, so.
Well, let's do it.
We got Berserker.
How the fuck did we pull his Berserker? Oh,
pull it over here. Pull it over here.
Yeah,
Back it up.
Sheep, sheep, on sheep, on sheep, on sheep.
Feared? We're all
Feared. Oh my god. This is not good. These totems,
Sweeping
I mean,
strikes.
dummies.
Whoa, shit. I'm throwing a dummy down.
Me too.
Oh my god, I got knocked the fuck off in another one.
I pulled another Berserker, holy.
Bro, Death Wish.
ACC.
Oh my lord. I got knocked back in the air.
Just ignore that little sun, because he's just gonna respawn anyway. Like, oh, never mind. We're getting fucked.
Axor.
Oh, we die.
Axor.
Can I get a small heal?
Small heal.
What the fuck, guys? What's going on? How did we just pull all those Berserkers?
The first Berserker got pulled by a totem.
Yeah, poison totem.
Where my reset spot at? God damn.
Our totem tonight's been kind of wild.
Oh shit, there's a minute and 40 seconds
God
left on
damn it. Fucking
on that.
Axlor. Oh
No,
no,
high last
Mono.
with 106.
I think
Really just
Brawlhalla
wiped
has-
in ZG?
I think Brawlhalla has
I have a soul stone.
Wait till
Wait
they
for the
reset.
pat.
We're only like a minute and a half though.
Our Conan tank debut has been a fucking fail. God damn.
It's not your tanking at all, bro.
It's not your fault.
No, man. Blame him.
No. Just blame him.
Should we run back or not?
Nah.
I'm running back regardless, but I think we have a white protection.
Yeah, they're both patrolling.
Everybody should just run back.
Yeah,
One of
that
the
was
Berserkers
taking
is not.
forever.
Yeah.
And
Patrols
wait
are
at
leaving
the
right now. Okay, we're running back.
Run back. Wait at the entrance if anything. We'll wait to see what Brawlhalla says.
The bar got low. It's 6.
We deserve this walk of shame.
Nah, it's not you, Harg. This is like a totem issue. We keep pulling shit with totems.
I honestly, if I had just gone like full two-handed tanking, right, and just been the first one in each time, I probably would have been fine, like holding threat and shit.
Well, that first berserker really threw. If they had the knockback, yeah, if that berserker hadn't pulled, we would have been fine.
Yeah, those packs are perfect for two-handers, to be honest.
When we decided to go left, we should have just kept going right.
Yeah,
It's like my favorite pack for two-hander.
A lot of things could have been different. We could have maybe all stayed home and not went to ZG tonight.
I'm at home right now.
I mean, Ash, if you have a BRE, like, you could probably just be two-hand tanking, like, all the trash. Like, no problem. Like, as long as being first one in and getting, like, the enrage buff going into the sweeping is nasty. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I probably would have done. And
I'm
then,
just
like,
gonna
you still
zone
get
in.
that DPS itch.
Yeah, just
Let's
zone
just-
in.
let's
The
just zone
berserker
in.
still hasn't reset.
That's crazy.
Yeah, walk in.
I've done this a few times. I know how to get
Right.
there.
Are you guys dropping the ZG hard after this?
If I soulstone, like, is that berserker gonna keep fucking us
I
up?
can drop mine, Blazing.
Because it's still targeted on Thwex.
Yeah, if you're gonna drop it, that's cool. Thank you, thank you.
No Fenty.
What is this song?
There's packs here. Don't pull these packs.
There's one coming towards you. Animal.
Let's just move with diamond. Let's just move with diamond so we don't accidentally pull shit. Wait for our tail.
Song.
Pulling two swag.
The nice song.
You said nice song?
Yeah.
Got my swag on.
This is a little throwback, a little bit.
I still gotta make the bot, like, when it jumps in the channel, the set volume lower. I forgot. Animal, you said you knew how to do that?
Yeah, M exclamation point set space default space volume and
Holy
like
shit.
15.
Can you just
Only
send me
you
that?
can do it.
There's no way I can remember all that.
All right, set default volume with spaces between the words. M exclamation point for the command argument. You feel me? Come on.
No.
No.
Patrol.
Shit.
Watch out.
Game designer's like, whatever.
Watch out, Blazing.
All right, I'm putting it into the music bot channel, and you're
Thank
gonna
you.
have to type it in.
Okay.
Way behind you guys.
Or be like, you will suffer eternally, orc.
Snake Patrol as well.
That don't get so. Oh, heart.
berserker
or
is
Ash.
off.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
berserker's
Ash.
on you.
Oh,
Wait,
God.
why is he over here?
Because
Yeah,
it
he
was
never
still targeted
reset.
on Thwex. Because it never
Kill him.
reset.
We got enough here. Sorry.
He was looking at Discord, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was distracted.
And
I'm gonna
either
blame
way, it's my fault.
Animal. There we go. At least he knows. No, I'm just kidding.
If I'm able to take blame, I'll do it, man. I
Thank
don't
you,
give a
man.
Heck.
I
don't
was
give a
really worried
freaking
the blame
heck.
was on me. Thank you. Look at all these skeletons, bro. How embarrassing. In front of
Yo,
our
look-
new recruit and Blazing,
guy's
our
big
future
bone.
recruit.
Ooh.
Yo, Ash, stop trying to poach, dude.
Yeah, he's like, can you come to the ZG? We're gonna recruit you.
That's crazy. He told us that you were asking to come.
Just joking.
Wait, did you see us on like looking for group channel? Or
Oh yeah, LFG. Yeah.
okay.
Easy group to join.
Sounds very
Is that you guys'
ethnically
voice?
like.
Is this Pond?
No, that's Blazing.
One dude sounds Asian, one dude
It's
sounds
crazy
black,
because if we have a
definitely.
guy called Blaze, then I thought it was you this whole time.
Wait, is this not Blaze
Blaze
Night?
Blaze got a fucking no, it's not. Blaze got a ban. 2 weeks.
Wait, and then we just replace him with somebody that's the same name.
I mean, that's what we've been doing. Remember, Korean Rage couldn't make one BWO, so I brought Karen Rage. We're just gonna keep
That's
that.
a different person? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
That's
Karen,
not
dude, we
the
have
same person.
Karen
And that's
and
why I have
Korean in here.
15 different versions of Ninja.
Yeah, right.
We got 2 ninjas in the raid right now.
Nah, that's
One of-
ninja. That's totally different. Not even close.
Yeah, it's a different pronunciation. For
The way
sure.
you guys say it, is that the Bobby Lee fucking the Asian song? I want to be ninja.
Oh, dude, I love that shit.
Oh my
That's
God.
how you guys are saying it.
Be a
Oh,
butterfly.
the G. The G.
Chop,
Totem
chop,
is
chop
pulled
it down.
outside.
There's a totem way back there.
What's next? MDMA abuser?
Knock all the totems.
Cocaine abuse. All right, let's
Can't
go.
abuse MDMA.
Come up, come up.
I got
Easy
cocaine
trash pull.
barrel.
2 mobs.
Pull your totems.
I wish that there was like a good like antonym for like like you would think the opposite of abuse is use, right? But it doesn't really hit as hard.
Question: what's the best way to get soy sauce out of a T-shirt?
This is gross.
Buy a new T-shirt.
No.
Suck it out like a vampire.
What's the way? What's the trick? Do none of you know?
Tide pods.
No bleach. It's a dark shirt.
Oh, I have this thing that takes out stains. Unless this is a joke, I'm confused.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, I have this thing. There's this thing I found on TikTok, and it takes off all stains perfectly. Hold on, what is it called?
I need it.
Are we doing cleaning tips next to her car right now?
We're doing some cleaning
Okay,
tips.
I'll find it later. Let me get back on the computer.
Laundry tips.
All right, pulling in 10, so I poured.
No. Where's the guy? I need rage.
Oh, don't worry. I'll pull it for you, Hark. No. Don't worry, man. I got it.
Right on.
Yeah, just one warrior get rage. Let's chill.
Yeah. Just make him solo it.
I'm gonna go get my dagger skill up.
Yo, white hits only, Moldy. Stop critting with your dagger. What are you doing?
I crit for 3.
Right now, we're ready.
Remember, we're doing fish boss after this. Hope Blazing needs his broken reel. We see those every week.
Right?
Yeah, actually put it as one of my res.
5, 4,
Hell yeah.
3,
It'll probably
2,
drop.
1.
Good chance of it.
We pulled the sun, low key.
Got a sun on the way.
Someone pick it up. Fucking crate.
Run out.
Sheeping?
Heals on Karen. Oh man. Heals on Blazing.
I don't know
Too
what
much.
the fucking off tank is, man.
Dispel.
Target heal.
Just in time.
Did we do something about the sun?
Sun's popping off on a healer right now.
Ninja, can you sheep the sun?
Dispel.
Dispel heart?
Heals on Ash.
Yep.
Oh no.
Guys,
We gotta
go. Gotta kill this fucking
is
thing.
crazy.
We kill it?
Blood Siphon in 5.
we got
Kill
it.
it quick. Nice.
I have a car. I popped wreck there to fucking just execute at the end.
Bro, this has been our sloppiest run ever. I had to use a second mongoose.
Still a lot of fun. You guys
Yeah.
are awesome.
Last week's was kind
No way.
we do 30-minute runs usually. This is actually one of our worst.
It's not
I
one
don't
of the
think
worst,
I've ever died in
definitely the
ZG
worst.
before.
Yeah, it might be
This
the
is
worst.
not the worst run we've done.
Oh, you're right. Remember that one
last week. Last week.
You guys
Last
had
week
that
was
one that was like
bad.
a bunch of bugs.
We're gonna pull this pack right here. Jump down.
Kill the soul flayers.
Let me fucking jump over.
Should save. Drop the target dummy for no reason.
we embarrassed ourselves in front of Blazing.
And Ponejects, bro.
Dude has a tiger mount, and we embarrassed ourselves.
That's man. He
Wait,
was telling me they got a
tiger?
23-minute clear BWL.
Yeah, they're #1 horde right now.
Well, with the change with Razor Gore, I was looking at that ever since.
They updated everybody's runs, so like they actually beat every.
Right,
other horde.
right.
You guys are #1 now. It looks like.
Pre-change, it would have been like 28 or something like that. It's like you just add 5 minutes basically.
5 minutes. Okay, that makes sense.
Razor takes like 5 minutes and 15 seconds, I think.
Oh wow.
Oh, I forgot to pick up my dummy mats.
Yeah, we got some pretty good people over there.
How many of you guys are like stacked on
We
Warriors?
recruited this guy like that's just cranking, dude, from private servers and shit. Era.
What's his name? Second coach?
Brocket, dude.
I'm kidding, bro.
He's not kidding.
I'm kidding. What are you talking about? I haven't been poaching anybody.
You're right. You're kidding. He's not kidding.
You have the thing, Ash, so it's on you.
Yeah, I was
He's
just
got
waiting on
Nuggetry
that.
now.
See?
I didn't
See?
poach Nuggetry.
See?
I did
I'm
not
just fucking
poach
dude.
Nuggetry. I saw him
crashed out, dude.
guildless.
He was
He crashed
guildless.
out because he didn't want to do Petri skip or some shit.
Guildless, sitting in the alley in Orgrimmar, and grabbed him.
Is that the dumpster behind Wendy's?
Kinda.
A threat.
Fucking
Yeah,
melee
right,
weaving.
Absolute.
Alright, well,
Seriously.
that's tough. That's real tough.
Damn, that ZG loot was pretty bad except for Ire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I almost like you should just trade me the eye because I tanked for it.
He's not kidding either.
Why not? I paid 50 gold. I'm about to pay 50 gold more to pay go back.
I mean, I did the same thing.
Didn't you hear it was tank as hard? It was HR for the tank.
That's massive, Threx. Good
Wait,
shit.
are you guys gonna drop ZG? We can run over there.
Wait.
I can drop mine, or Threx can drop his.
Flex,
whatever.
why'd you cancel?
Wait, where are you at? I don't even see you.
User, you usually just open trade with the rogue,
I
and it's
also
like an
don't see you.
unspoken
Where are you?
agreement.
Oh, you're like invisible for
Kind of
me.
like when you open a trade with a mage, they just
There you are.
automatically give you water.
Or you open a trade with a lock and you just get a rock.
Mm-hmm.
If you open trade with a warrior, you get a middle finger.
Basically. Fucking 99 rolling that.
Will of Arlok, best spirit staff for mages.
He said I'm rolling a 99. He drew a 1.
Wow.
My dude. You should have said.
You know,
I'm
if you
rolling a
guys are
1.
absolute chads, you'll come clear these packs for me.
Fuck out of here.
I see it.
Is
I
that
see
what?
it. I
Oh,
see
you're
ore
right.
over there.
No wonder.
Get me to that ore.
I'll roll you for the ore.
I'll roll Brawlhalla for the ore. We just gotta get there. Rennie's like, I'll fucking do it.
Oh, I'm cheap.
No, are we about to wipe right now?
Nah.
Oh no. I'm about to get.
Something to think about is just starting their speed run right now. It's on Twitch.
These guys are fucking fast. That's the fastest CG I've ever done. Like,
Do you think they're gonna be
first
big
guild
guys?
that like
I don't know,
really
we'll
dips
see.
me
They're
in
literally on
DPS,
Bill.
but I think they're. I know what they're doing. Like
we
they're
might wipe.
going two-hander on
Yeah, I have
trash,
threat.
and then they swap to like
still
their
need,
weapons on
Rennie, guys,
dual wield weapons
guys
on boss.
wiping?
Can an animal
I'm
wow?
trying to do
It's
loot.
fucking us
Yeah.
up, bro.
Yeah, we're doing trash, and I had threat.
I blame whoever's
not
not
getting
here.
healed.
Yeah, that was probably the
Can I
fastest
try
EG
it?
for
I
sure.
rolled twice.
Your healer
That
died.
I've personally done.
Yeah, you rolled
Fair
twice if you 2x.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Booty Bay, get Zandalar buff, and I'm gonna continue leveling up my weapon skill for my two-handed shit.
I didn't even see a roll.
Like I think I'm gonna go like get two-handed axe up to 300, then two-handed swords
Said he can't
for
roll on the
like
sword.
the random sword spec arms. Maybe that'll fucking pop off.
Soul, yeah. Oh, wrong thing. Hang on. We're doing. There we go. There.
You wouldn't.
Okay. So, for the idols, we've got Rennie.
No way.
And
No
Fiddy.
shot.
Oh. Open trade right now.
I'm
Animal.
really him.
I've been him.
Alright, that goes to the G Bank.
And Fiddy is dead.
That goes to Hark's repair bill.
Hey,
Oh,
Moses,
I
Bloodvine-
accept
Bloodvine
this
on this
compromise.
Are we gonna res Fenty?
target. Nah.
My healer is too busy. Dude, my rogue is too busy playing on Night Slayer right now. How? Shut the fuck up, Benny.
I would like to point out that we have 3 healers.
Going for a quick Anixia.
Hey, I'm down.
Did he get a summon? Or did he get a res?
Yeah, he has 1 pending.
Okay. I'm gonna move on. Target's too far away.
I will go to the island right now and do it, but I don't actually like the trinket's not amazing for me. I think Thwek, you're actually gonna use the trinket, right? Do you want to go?
Oh
do
yeah,
the,
I'm gonna use the
heart?
shit out of this thing.
I have a car.
I'm gonna drop it.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna drop it, let me get there too.
Oh, come on.
Damn it, Karen.
No. Anybody got some Bees they'd like to come off of? Oh, thanks.
Nice.
What's
Holy
the way out here? Left or right? What do you think?
Straight this way.
It's this way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys start running all over the place, I'm not gonna be able to
West.
trade the loot.
Yeah, let's just finish loot real quick.
Right, quick.
Oh, they just rolled the Eye of Hakar. It's whatever. Like that was the one thing I was like, actually, that is like a slight upgrade by like what 14 attack power. It's not a huge upgrade. It's an epic neck, whatever. I thought it was already rolled off earlier, so I wasn't even really paying attention to loot here. But yeah, I mean, what do we got here? A dude that rolled 91. I probably wouldn't have beat him. Oh, Karen won that. Yeah.
Roll on that.
I'm satisfied with my high warlord weapons, like
You let all the warriors.
onslaught and like all this other shit is like, I'll get it eventually. I'm not in a rush to be like best in slot.
Skizzers rolled his main spec.
All right, let's get this shit.
We can stay off spec. Stay off spec.
And then I could get on the boat and go to Ratchet for flight to Dustwallow if these guys are doing Oni after
Yo, Moldy.
this. That'll be lit.
Hit me with amplify magic.
Sock.
That was Harkonnen speaking.
Yeah, I already did.
Wait, can you hit me with Amplify Magic too?
No, you buffed Ash.
What?
The power of diamond.
I think that is
Diamond.
where it
He
was.
took, when did he take the diamond back? What the shit?
When we died.
It's like, oh no, you don't get this anymore.
Brawlhalla, you got PI?
Hey.
Yeah, I do.
There's
Hit
a
me with
blood
the PI.
vine and a blood scalp cone.
Right now?
Yeah. Let's see this tick. Oh, damn.
Here comes the port.
1274.
Everybody just take the port, in my opinion.
Was that your max amplify magic?
No,
Really?
no, no, yeah, because there's
Holy-
still some like
I'm dropping
Bijous and
heart.
Bloodvine on the ground here.
Yeah,
Oh, we're
there's a
doing
whole bunch of
heart.
shit.
Oh no.
Uh,
Such a horrible raid lead.
They're not
Well,
bad.
I'll just head to the island. You were done with Lou, right? I don't know what's
done?
faster. Maybe the Zeppelin might be faster actually, depending on the
Blazing,
timing.
It's faster.
I feel like it's
100%.
faster. Yeah.
What
I'm
is?
still waiting.
And the
on
hearts
Snoop.
do go out all the time, but if you know,
I'm
you
not
guys
worried
get
about it. I'll get one no matter what time. Oh
Don't
shit!
pull that
Yeah,
by
I just-
holy fuck!
I was mid jump
Are we still doing loot or what's going on here?
Just do big pieces right now before people start leaving.
I mean, big pieces are already done.
Yeah, good shit then.
There's a pat. There's a pat.
Ooh, how much is
These-
that?
Yo, thank
these,
you everybody for
snakes
coming
come-
for
These snakes come really close to you, Blazing. Come up to where I am at.
Pleasure.
I think they come even this close.
I'd like to. I mean, I just threw it out there.
Whoa, did you disenchant that?
Do you want it? I haven't actually
Yes, please.
disenchanted it yet.
Yeah, let me get that.
You high warlord here. The shit.
Nah, I want
There
that.
was
That
the-
shit's Biss, bro.
It's
The
a
Trident?
pitchfork, right?
That's
The
Biss
pitchfork.
RP set.
Does
Oh, you're talking about the trident, not the pitchfork?
The pitchfork.
Oh, but you also want the trident too?
No, I don't. Just
No.
the pitchfork.
Okay, so
I'll take that
Mamato-
harpoon.
work is pretty dope.
I think this is weapons.
I can't do Ani for another day.
I could do Oni.
Same, I can't do Oni.
No, I can't. I can't do it for
can.
another day. I always forget that Oni's on a 5-day or whatever reset. I think it's 5.
Oh, Ash, you still need to roll off that
PG3.
fucking ring.
That's right.
Do
Where
what?
is it?
Are you mocking me, Blazing? You didn't get days left your mount, dude?
I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
You're like, you're stutter stepping around me. He's like, this fucking guy.
Good
with his
call,
fucking
Moldy.
ET
I was
tiger
about to
fucking-
log.
No man left behind.
Nobody wants to hit ring?
I'm waiting for
Skizzers
Morgan's
rolled
thing
for
to
it
do
earlier.
Skizzers, you did want it.
Yeah.
That's nice, bro. Especially if you get the
I'm
stat.
trying to roll on it. I'm trying to roll
Yeah,
on
fuck it, I'll take it.
Who's
What?
trying to
I
roll?
wanna
Do you have
roll
the
on
other
it.
piece?
Wait, who wants to roll on it?
I don't have the other one yet.
Fleck.
no.
Fleck, then roll.
Oh, roll.
Yeah, give it to Fleck.
Fuck.
You're fine.
Did I even win it?
I mean, Skizzers rolled a 37, but do you want to pass it?
Mine
to
was
it?
off spec. Mine was off spec. Give it to Fleck.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Rats.
Where you at, Lex?
What's the
I have
warlord?
to-
That's huge
I'm still
for him.
waiting.
He needs it.
I have 2 of these.
Okay, I'll wait here in org for you.
Well, I'm oh, you have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, Ash.
Okay, okay.
Good call, Moldy.
Yep.
That's why you do the loot.
Today.
I don't want to do loot.
Today.
Come on, bro. I can't do loot.
I would do the loot, but both of my characters have no bag space because I have a warlock with soul shards and a hunter with a quiver. So
I want those on my priest so bad.
Those
Gloves.
bludgeons gloves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are huge. That's nuts.
I feel like if
You're
this
getting all
was
the hit.
timed correctly, you could maybe be faster, but there's a small window probably. The one that has the panthers
Yeah.
and stuff.
Basement boss.
This is the Primalist band. Someone
Let's
someone
go.
expressed
It's all
interest
good.
in this.
Big healer ring.
Yup.
Nobody
if
needs
not,
that healer ring.
Hark's going after it.
It's only good if
I
you
There's
have
no way you want that for flat set, even with the set bonus.
The set
Wait,
bonus.
there's no healer.
Because look, you get the set bonus, and then
It's
it's
not
like
worth
that
it.
one has 33 and the other one has 20 something, and then you might as well that adds up.
I will.
Oh.
See what I mean?
It's
Even
only
if you-
2 less healing than having Forging Seal and the.
Damn, good
what
point.
is it?
Moldy, where'd you go?
I'm in ZG.
What?
I did see this rank
putting a port
14
now.
warrior with a very nice
Right,
flash.
there's a
flip
port to
the other
org.
day.
Yeah,
Looked like
Rose
a
one.
common.
Is somebody dropping
I'm running over there to drop my head. I don't know where Thwex is.
Wait,
Alright, I still have to
almost
give.
Well, I'm getting on Zeb right now.
I need an epic mount so bad.
I
I
went
was
to
really
org
hoping I was
to,
gonna get a ZG mount.
I got a trade with Caned, Karen Rage, and Hark.
Yeah, I'm coming to you.
I'm gonna go to the top of the bank.
I'm going to org and then taking the Zep to drop the heart once I get the band from Ash.
Blazing,
But
are you
user,
down to wait
I'm
for
down to.
Thwek?
Right.
Whoa, what'd you say?
Are you down to wait for Thwek?
Oh, I'm gonna just wait for whatever. If anybody drops one, that's great.
What were you gonna say, Ash?
I said I'm down to play Legacy on Thursday.
Oh hell yeah, me too. I'm down.
Wait, where's Caned at?
I'm coming to the bank now. You said you're on top?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Oh, I see you.
Did you add me already?
No, I didn't. What's your
you.
house name again?
Patchface.
I gotta turn to my Cossack anyway for a rep.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a book character.
That's a cool name.
That was my warrior name in Classic.
From what series?
What server did you play on?
What did you say?
Sulfuris, Game of Thrones.
Oh,
books.
I'm actually I have the books. I'm reading through them right now, but I'm only on Clash of Kings.
I like Clash of Kings. Yeah, I read them all multiple times. I named all my characters like Game of Thrones names. Like Euron was my mage.
Yeah.
Because in the books, Euron is actually a fucking dope mage.
Oh
no.
Oh no.
I mean,
we kind of knew that was coming.
Dude, he was just... I was getting pissed off. He wasn't fucking healing at all this raid.
Who?
Well, he got benched for BWL, and I guess.
Yeah, but that's
probably
still,
why.
like... Come on. You're still in a raid. Like, throw a few heals out. Don't just stand there.
You know, I messaged him saying like, "Hey man, you got your Oni cloak on." He's like, "Oh, lol. I was watching Netflix."
Yeah, I mentioned him, like, at the very beginning of the raid.
Zev, I don't
raid?
have that, but Ninja can. Ninja has the +4 greater sets of chest.
Who needs +4?
Oh, there goes the Zandalar buff. Sweet.
Oh, I missed.
What raid you guys talking about tonight?
Yeah,
right
I mean, I knew
I haven't
we were talking
dropped mine.
about
I'm
Chipbox.
going there now to drop mine.
I didn't roster Chipbox this week, and I kind of figured he might G quit. So, I mean, I don't know. What can you do?
Has he been kind of acting that way or something?
Well, I don't know. I benched him before because Fairy Fire uptime was horrible, and I think he told Crystal, I'm going to G quit if I don't get rostered next week. Which makes sense. If you're not getting rostered, what you should do is reach out and be like, why am I not getting rostered?
Exactly.
And then I'd be like, it's because of Fairy Fire. If you could just focus on Fairy Fire, the thing I've been begging you for weeks. Like, in giving you, here's a week or a please, I don't care about your heals, just focus on Fairy Fire.
It's such a
Damn, there's some drama in this guild.
Bro, it's like 120 TPS increase for threat. And we get 0 Fairy Fire on Veils for multiple weeks in a row. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
That's insane.
And I'm begging, like, on Razorgore, I know you guys heard me. I was like, I don't care about your DPS and I don't care about your heals per second. Put up your debuffs. We never have issues with Cursor Wreck. We never have issues with, like, IEA. Everybody's doing their fucking job. Fairy Fire is not hard to do. It's really not hard to do.
No.
You just put it on when you walk in.
Yeah, and if you miss, I even told him, if you miss, keep spamming it. Even if you miss 8 times, just keep spamming it. We got other healers that got your back.
This sounds like the guild master or like
And then
the
not
raid
to mention,
leader, and he
his
sounds
heals
like
weren't
the one
great
black
either.
dude.
So I tried to do a healer workshop with him, and I had him swap to regrowth build, because I was like, why are you? He was doing like a
we got some
rejuvenation
chicken
build,
strips.
and I was like, that's not going to work until Nax Saffron. It's not a good build until you have the gear for it, full T2, and it takes a lot of mana pots to do his build, and he's always been the lowest healer. I think people underestimate Resto Druids. Resto Druids should be the #1 healers because they have a build that can give them essentially 100% crit. I used to be a Resto Druid and Sulfuris in a GDKP Chinese guild, and they would be like, your only job is Fairy Fire and Mark of the Wild, and you have to Mark of the Wild everybody. That's your only job. They don't care about my heals, right?
Yeah.
But there was a bonus pot for healers, so I would outperform all these Resto Shamans and the priests just for the bonus pot. Even I was drinking flasks as mana pots because it was worth it, because it was it was like 7K a bonus pot, it was huge.
I love going for those bonus pots, bro.
and I still had 90% uptime on Fairy Fire. So, and this was not my main. This was like my 7th fucking 60. So I don't think there's any excuse. Even if you're performing well as a healer, you should still be able to focus on Fairy Fire with a weak aura that I provided. Like, why is it hard to look at that weak aura? I'm sorry, I'm bitching, y'all.
All right.
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
I mean,
Why are you yelling?
dude.
Are you the raid leader?
All those mobs, like
out,
the big
bro.
ones, the worm guards and everything, all 3. Gotta get on that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, after that, man. I'm definitely falling in line after that one.
He is.
Yeah, so like
I'm
that,
He is the raid
Druids
leader.
can snipe heal the entire time
I
too,
can
because they
just
can get
tell
that
from
one-
the voice this
like,
dude
1 second
is
regrowth if they downrank
black.
all the way.
I was about to say mine.
And it still
Night
does
suckers.
so much.
All right, boys, take it easy. Thanks for the run.
How
Good to
much
get
does
done.
that rank?
coming, bro.
How much does that rank 1 regrowth heal for? With
No,
like
no, no,
all
no,
the
it's not
fucking
rank 1.
healing?
So
For
it's
the
not
1
what you're
second
not.
regrowth, or what are you
You're
saying?
supposed to do the 600.
Okay, so actually,
As a resto,
I'm
a
gonna leave
regrowth
it.
resto druid, you use like 4 different regrowths depending on how much heals need to go out. You know, you kind of have to memorize how much each heal
Anyways,
does, so you don't overheal.
let me
But
get
most
out
of the time,
here.
you use like the 600 mana or the 4.
Who is Ash? Oh, Ash is the guy, the other warrior, right? Ash. Yeah, Ash Wagwanda. Okay. Cool. He's a warrior. Yeah. I'm just gonna wait here for Orgrimmar buff and then probably log out. Because, my boon is... Wait, would it be on... Yeah, it's on 49-minute cooldown, so if I can get an Oni and a Rend... Rend is a little bit more rare these days. We get more Oni and Neff, like, head... Like, Dragon Slayer shit, but, yeah. Not so much Rend. But yeah, these guys sound kind of badass. Just hearing them talk in Discord after raid. My kind of guild. I don't know. I'm still pretty sober. Like, I'm kind of just. Oh, they're speaking of the devil, the Farian head. I gotta log out for this. Come on, drop it. Then I log back into an hour. Alright, and then I boon that up. Then get DMF, and then DMT buffs, and then Songflower, and hopefully Ren drops, and then I'll have like all 8 world buffs. It's like 4-hour stream. We'll call it at that. No outro music, actually, yeah. I'm just gonna end the stream here. Peace.